Time is running out in the Gen 4 series, and we've seen a lot of good racing in the first two races that have seen James Bickford sweep the events. So far at Chicagoland and Charlotte. Will he make it 3 in a row this evening, or will someone else in the field step up and try to slay the beast that is James Bickford? All these questions will be answered tonight from the Virtual Auto Club Speedway. We welcome you to Monday Night Racing Summer Series presented by Mach 10 Digital and the Highland Homes Roofing 200. Hello, friends, and welcome to our coverage of Podium Esports, where alongside my partner, Darren Dedman, my name is Dylan Conley, filling in for Kenneth Bueno. Ryan Bauer is turning the dials in the studio as our producer this evening, and he's using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. We're glad you're here with us here tonight, again with Darren Dedman. Darren, what we got going on tonight?
Man, it's going to be another great race, Dylan. I know that you've been involved in a bunch of these, but never on this side of the broadcast booth. It's always exciting up here watching these guys turn laps, and we're expecting the same thing tonight, right? Bickford going for 3 in a row with these Gen 4 cars with that high horsepower package, low downforce at a big track like Cali. It should be a ton of fun tonight. All these Gen 4 races this summer have been absolutely outstanding. We're expecting nothing but that again tonight.
The entire summer series has been fun. Again, this is a split series. Half of it is on a super speedway with the next gen cars and the Gen 4s. They're alternating weeks. We had a week off in there. There's only 3 races remaining here in the Monday Night Racing Summer Bash. We have Auto Club this evening. Then we'll have the finale of the Super Speedway Series with the next gens on Bumpy Daytona. That is Legacy Daytona, August 7th. And then we'll round things out August 14th from Homestead, Miami, Florida. Should be a good couple of races coming up here. But in the meantime, we are here at Auto Club Speedway this evening for what should be an exciting event. We got single car qualifying coming up here shortly, but let's take a look at where we're at from our friends at Google Earth. Fontana, California, Southern Cal. It's a shame this is going to be a short track here in the next couple of years, but in the meantime, this is a 4-corner, 14-degree banked racetrack located in Southern California, about a half hour, 45 minutes away from Los Angeles. Should be a good one tonight. Even the go-kart track out in the parking lot. So some track facts for you. This is a 2-mile in length racetrack. Again, 4 turns, 14 degrees of banking, pit road speed, 55 miles an hour on an asphalt surface.
Yeah, real interesting, Dylan, how a lot of the guys have been showing up just a little bit late tonight. We've been talking about James Bickford and the dominance that he's had throughout the series, really both sides of the series all summer long, and coming into tonight with his Gen 4 package on this 2-mile track. Showed up real late to that practice session, so it's going to be interesting to see if he is as prepared as he needs to be. You know, he has not qualified the best all season long, and he has still pulled out 3 of the 5 wins this season, and both with his Gen 4 car. So it's going to be interesting to see how that shakes out. A lot of interesting storylines to follow tonight. Will the Cabry brothers be able to step up and contend for the win again? I mean, it's all coming up here in just a little bit on Monday Night Racing. It's going to be fantastic. And there you see the race analysis up on the screen as we were just talking about. 100 laps or 2 hours in length. We have not had that 2-hour time limit all season long. Don't necessarily expect to see it tonight on this big fast track in California. 3 green right checkered attempts as we've seen for the last 4 races or so. No fast repairs in that fixed setup with 100% max fuel. Fuel strategy did play into one of James Bickford's wins earlier this season at Charlotte. Ran out of gas coming to the line. We weren't able to see the burnout out of him, so it might be a little redemption burnout from him tonight if he's able to sneak across the line once again in first place with just a little bit more fuel than he had at Charlotte. But it's going to be interesting to see, and we're going to kick it off here in just a minute or so with single car qualifying. Really exciting to see these guys hustle these high horsepower cars as we've been talking about around this track. A lot of action. We see action all the time with these guys with this high horsepower package getting sideways, hitting the wall. We expect that same thing coming up here from Southern California.
The other thing that you need to watch is a lot of cars ripping the top. There's multiple lanes that can be used all around this racetrack, and it looks like we're starting to line up some cars on pit road, get some single car qualifying underway. I believe they will be lined up via their practice speed, so the car that was the fastest in practice will go last. If you're slowest in practice, you're going to go first, or if you didn't set up time. And it looks like it's going to be Julian Ricky who will go first here in single car qualifying here shortly. An excellent style that they have, is Joseph Gregory that will go first, it looks like. Excellent style, enjoy this. They don't do it on the super speedways because it would just be too time consuming, but this is a fun way to qualify instead of just putting up 5 minutes saying everyone qualify. We don't get to see everything. So as Joseph Gregory is moving backwards now.
It's the wrong way to go if you're qualifying.
Going the wrong way.
We're working on that. Gotta love that old throwback Richard Childress scheme. I guess
That's
Mike Dillon ran that. Yeah, it was.
Oh, there are a lot of guys. That was Denny Hamlin's run that. Then Eric Almirola run it. I mean, it's a good looking scheme.
Old time. I don't even think we've seen that paint scheme in like a throwback weekend either.
Oh.
It's surprising to see. It was so classic there in the early O's, I guess, for the Richard Childress Joe Gibbs cars. But good to see it here on Monday Night Racing, even if it is going backwards and now just sitting still on pit road.
It looks good just there. So we'll be ready to get some cars sent out here shortly. They're having seems like a little issue with the order here, as there are people in the session that did not lay down a practice time that will have to qualify first, or they will not be able to qualify, I believe. So as we see Steve Affont, who is moving, and the order based off of iRacing, if they did not lay down a time, it looks like they'll be allowed to qualify. So he is going to take his 54 behind the wall Chevrolet up to the line first. It looks like he's going to be ready to go. It's a good looking scheme.
Great looking scheme. And, I do love, we talk about this because I am not a iRacing aficionado by any stretch of the imagination, really just stepping into all of this and learning about everything. But I love how much time these guys spend on their paint schemes. They really make these cars look great. And, between the Gen 4 cars and the next gen cars, the different series that we have going on through this summer bash, the guys really take a lot of time to put some time into making these cars look great. And Steve's car, it is just one of those. This beautiful number 54 going to take time. And the best part about Steve going first, he is going to be on the provisional pole to start. So even though he is slow in practice, he'll be able to wave that. Banner that he was first qualifier for just a second.
He will take the green. They will only have one lap. They'll have the warm up out of pit, and they will take the green and the white together. It's only one lap. Steve Affont, of course, from Milton, West Virginia. He is a reporter for Behind the Wall Media. That's on his race car.
And just watch him fight that wheel coming through 1 and 2. Even down the straightaway, he's looking like he's fighting that thing. Just a great shot from inside the car to show you how hard these guys are actually working. Look at him into 1. Just saw that wheel up high, trying to rip that high line. Great shot from our producer, Ryan Beard, with that one. And sideways coming out of 4 to the line, clocking in with the fast time so far. He's going to break 40. No, he's not. He's going to lap in at a 41.13. So Steve Affont with a 41.13 provisional pole, obviously, at this point.
He's on the pole as of right now.
It was interesting. A couple of weeks ago, we did have the first guy out of the box. Did set fast time for quite some time, though. He went probably halfway through the session. I don't remember exactly who that was, but I think the last time we were in these Gen 4 cars, whoever went out first actually held fast time throughout most of the session. So going to be interesting to see how well that time holds up for Steve, as it looks like he's still on track, maybe trying to lay a second lap down, or I see him clicking off some time here.
Oh, yeah. So that's going to move him to first place out of one car. So that's exciting. The next driver in line, I don't know who will be next. They're calling people. Race Control sending people to pit road. Looks like it's going to be Brandon Hoff. Brandon's in a little bit of pain these days. It looks like his Yankees are going to sell here at the trade deadline. So,
I mean, if that's the worst thing that happens, that's a good day for everybody else, though, right?
So we have a sponsor this evening, Highland Homes Roofing. Since 1986, Highland Homes Roofing has been the #1 company you can trust for all your roofing needs. Locally owned and operated in Sebastian, Florida. And they don't use subcontractors, guaranteeing the quality and craftsmanship their clients have come to expect. Highland Homes Roofing is deeply involved in the community and have brought together the best local talent to create their roofing dream team. They take pride in all aspects of roofing and look forward to serving their area's roofing needs for many years to come. Financing is available. For more information and to get a free quote, visit their website at www.highlandhomesroofing.com or find them on Facebook, Highland Homes Roofing. Trust them with all your roofing needs. As we take a look at Brandon Hoff, he has taken the green flag. A little bit different line so far.
Yeah, it looks like a good lap. A little bit different line. He's not ripping the high line like Steve was. Yeah, he's down low, tucking it down low as you would expect for a qualifying lap here at Fontana. Nipping that white line down there at the bottom of 3 and 4. Once again, he's a lot smoother through the corner than Font was as he dips down below the line, and he will go to the pole by 0.6 of a second on that one. Brandon Houff clocking in with a 40.557 on the provisional pole once again by 0.6 over Stephen Font.
It's a good looking scheme again, by the way. I think that's a kind of throwback to the Casey Kane McDonald scheme, if I remember correctly. It's a little Casey Kane or Bill Elliott in there.
I think we've talked about this before, and I don't think it was Bill. I think it was the Casey Kane, maybe Dark Knight scheme, but absolutely. Yeah. It's one of those beautiful Evernham Dodges from back in the day. I think of that. It's an interesting, they ask you, well, who do you think of when you see this number? When I see that specific 9, I think of Bill Elliott. Of course, that's kind of showing my age a little bit. Then I think of Casey Kane pulling in for him as Joseph Gregory finally taking the track now. It's just a Rockwell Automation car. It looks like an old Joe Gibbs car, so it's a good-looking vehicle. It's a Chevrolet as you're on board with him. So who do you think about when you see this beautiful old hot rod?
Well, I think about, for half of the race, I think of Eric Almirola, and the second half, Denny Hamlin.
That's exactly where I was going with that. Great minds think alike, Dylan. Yep.
Those of you who don't know, Rockwell Automation is based around the Milwaukee area. So they had Eric Almirola start the race because they wanted their guy, Denny Hamlin, to run the full race, but he was unable to do so because they were in Fontana, California. They said, Eric, you start the race. Well, he's leading the race, and he's led every single lap, and they rip him out of the car, and Denny wins the race, but prize money and the points go to old Eric Almirola. So
credit the win to
that was about 12, 13 years ago. Goodness gracious.
Yeah. That might have even been longer ago than that. That might have been.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
We're getting old, man. We're talking about Bill Elliott of the die. We're going all the way back.
Bill Elliott's not that old. I saw him race last year. Racing his boy as Joseph Gregory comes across the line. It looks like he will be the slowest so far to 41.4, roughly about a second behind Brandon Houff. Second and some change as Corey Doozer will come on track now in the 14 Bear Graphics car.
Multiple cars on track right now. He's got screws. Yeah, Doozer came onto the track earlier. It looks like he is going to torque up Pelletier's lap. So Pelletier and this beautiful, looks like Carl Edwards, Roush Racing could be the.
That's Carl Edwards' car.
Well, is it a Biff? It could be Biffle though, right?
Could be the Biff, yeah. Is that a Ford Fusion? I know it's got the razor blades on the front, so I think it's a Ford Fusion. As he had an issue on Francis's lap here, as he'll come across the line. It's interesting. I believe race control told him to go, so that's odd. So as Francis comes, he's 4/10 off. Brandon Houff still on the pole at the moment as Francis runs a 40.951. Second car into the top 4.
And here we go with Corey Doozer.
Corey Doozer is on track now. Yes, he is. There he is. So that's not a throwback to anything, I don't believe.
No. What I do love, though, is the different years and makes and models that are available to race on Gen 4 night, right? Yes, so we just saw Ford Fusion on the track. So this is the later Ford Fusion from probably, 09?
Yeah, 09 to 11 or 12, somewhere around the COT era.
Right. And then the one we just saw out of Pelletier was the older one. So I don't even know what year that would have been. Whereas again, we're talking about getting old, but great just to see. It's a very throwback, really, to the 80s and days. Before the good old days when there were different makes and models and everything on the track. So it's fun here on Monday Night Racing to see these guys mixing it up in different body styles from the same generation, but different eras, different years on these cars. It's Julian Ritchie now on the track in the 97. Let's see how he cranks out the lap.
By the way, Corey goes to P2 right now with a 40.6 at the moment. This looks like transformed from a Gen 6 scheme. It looks like a scheme that Nick Ottinger ran, I believe, when he won the Coke Series title in 2020.
Okay.
That's all I think about when I think of Logitech is
I mean, that's fair. I saw the 97 with the black and the squiggly on the side, and I went back to little Kurt Busch Roush Racing days. But yeah,
no, I see a black and blue 97. I think of the Sharpie car that about destroyed the pit road wall at Homestead.
Absolutely. Luckiest break, I believe, in the history of NASCAR.
I think Jimmy Johnson or Jeff Gordon would have another title, as this is Julian coming around the final corner. He will cut it down across the apron. You'll see a lot of drivers do that. Well, sort of. As he will cross the line. That is good enough for P5, a 41.352.
Do love seeing the consistency out of these guys, though, right? We talk about, to the novice, this is a video game, right? But you see the hard work that these guys put in. We're qualifying right now, and everyone's within 9/10 of a second of each other. Granted, we're only through 6 cars, but you'll see that consistency all night long as we go on board with Ray Richard coming down the backstretch. I saw Ray in Pocono a couple weeks ago. He's doing real well. We're happy to have him here on Monday Night Racing. Always fun to have him on track, showing these young guys how to do it.
I hate to say this. I love this scheme, except for one thing, and this is not bashing anything. The number just looks a little low to me on the side. That's all. It's a beautiful scheme. It just looks like the number's just slightly low.
Could be. Yeah.
But that's just what I see.
I love when Ray just shows up with that plain white car as he clocks in third fast.
He's got a sponsor now, so of course Ray puts at P3 right now.
He's big time putting that sponsor up. P3 is here's one of the threats. Last week's winner, Cole Cabry, on the track. Always a threat for the win, threat for the pole, along with his brother Chase. And again,
he's got no sponsor.
I love this though. I love when he shows up with just the fast black plain race car and goes out and whoops everybody. Has been known to do. Finally was able to break through for that first win last week in the Summer Series. So good to see him back on track, and looking for him maybe to, as he gets a little sideways, coming out of 4, doesn't get the wall. He keeps it off of it. We'll see how much that slows down his lap, though, as Cole's going to clock in with a 40.
It's not too bad.
No, he's going to clock in second quick, right behind Brandon Houff, just a couple hundreds off him. So despite that wiggle, he's right there at the top once again.
Yeah, I mean, even with that, that might have just been speed there. So, that might have been by design. So, I believe it is Landon Polinsky on track now. Another unsponsored car. Get this man a sponsor. He's got he doesn't even have it's not even a make. It is not even we don't know what
James
it is.
Finch, it's a James Finch deal, right?
Yeah.
There's no stickers on the
there's no stickers on it. We're on board with him right now, but if you see the outside of his car, it's got no Chevy, Dodge, Toyota, or Ford logo on it. So,
love it.
It's just black race car.
I love it. That's the James Finch throwback, right? When he was
all those stickers just weigh it down.
Absolutely. Well, they do add horsepower, but they do weigh it down, as the racer community knows. So
stickers or not, he is P4 with a 40.682, just a couple hundredths off of Corey Doozer in P3. So right now he's P4. We have had so far, that was driver number 9 to lay down a time, as Art Reimer is on track now. I asked my buddy this, said, if you went back and talked to Van Gogh and you brought him back to present times and he developed a rap career, would that not make him an Art Reimer? That was pretty bad, I know.
You should broach that with the driver of the 49 after the race. I've said it up during his hot lap. That makes sense, right?
Yeah, it'd be an Art Reimer, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. Reimer, though, going to quick end. Looks like he's got a great
lap. Looking lap.
Yeah,
P4.
In the old Intrepid. Again, we're talking about the different makes, models, and cars across years there. So great lap for Art. Clocking in P4 at this point. Brandon Houff still on the pole, though, as the guy we all talk about. You called him the Beast in pre-race, and in the intro, James Bickford looking for his 3rd win in a row. And we talked about it a little bit ago. He hasn't qualified all that well in any of the Summer Series. I don't know if he's qualified top 10 in any of the races this season, but he's won over half of them. 3 of the 5 checkered flags handed out have been gone back to Charlotte Phoenix Racing with James Bickford. So he's all kinds of squirrely coming out of 2.
Now, this is a home racetrack for him. He is a Napa, California native. So, of course, James Bickford is a very talented race car driver. He drove in the Marco Menard Series. He knows a car similar to this. So
absolutely.
So, as he's still wiggling off 3 and 4.
Yeah, no surprise that he can do what he can do with these machines, as he is going to clock in. This is going to be a good barometer to see where everyone else and how fast they are. And a 40.7, he is not going to again qualify well, just ahead of Ray Richer as he spins it out in one, trying to get that thing loaded up. So again, not a great qualifying lap once again for James Bickford. Let's see how far he can march up through the field. And Dylan, we've got Gary Sexton on track now. He's got an interesting setup tonight with that camera. He's got a GoPro on his helmet showing you what he sees live in that great setup that he has at his place down in Mooresville, North Carolina.
Yeah, it's quite the view. You see this in NASCAR, and you'll even see Garrett Maines do this in the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing series, where he'll strap a GoPro to his forehead and just show you what's going on. Now he makes sure that you can't see anything that's of sheer importance, such as, you know, a setup, so he doesn't turn on until late. But this is a good point of view that you might not see ordinarily, as he will come across the line. Where's old Gary going to be at? P3. All right.
Yeah, all right. Great lap for Gary in that number 13.
GoPro added a couple tenths, probably.
Yeah, so that's one thing. Is here's the other league co-owner, Ford Martin. Let's see if he can crank out a decent lap. Ford had a great qualifying run last week and a great run going all week long all race long last week at Talladega. It looks like he's fighting that wheel once again, as a lot of these guys are with that high horsepower package coming out of 2 down the back chute.
I mean, it's real wiggly. The track is pretty hot right now. It's 129 degrees.
Slick
right now, so that's very slick.
Absolutely. That hot California sun, great view once again, seeing how Ford is working that wheel. And you see the juxtaposition between the setups that these guys have. If you're interested in getting into iRacing, I mean, Ford's got his wheel and his setup there, but you see how far, like, Gary has gone out. So it's great just to see, like, in home what these guys are doing as Ford comes across the line 1/1000th of a second off the pole, qualifying P2. Great run for Ford there.
That's an excellent lap so far. As Matt Stallneck is on track right now. There's a look at Matt. Looks like he got a haircut.
Matt got a haircut, and he might be able to afford that haircut. I guess there's a little side bet going on tonight between him, Gary, Chase Cabry, Barron Houff, Nick Olson, Ronnie Osmer's in. There's a little side bet going on. Martin Miranda is in as well. So one of those, we'll keep you on track with that through the rest of the night. But one of those guys is going to walk away with a little haircut money at the end of the night as Stallneck clocks in with a 40.599. He's going to look like he's going to shake out P4 at this point. Rounded up
still pretty good laps.
Great lap for him. So again, a lot of contenders for that extra pool money at the top of the qualifying board as we see the 6 on the board. Toyota Camry of Matt Alverson. Great looking scheme out for him as well.
Oh, we about lost it there. Looking at a scheme, this is a Supra. You know, I get big Dale Earnhardt Wrangler vibes from this car. It's not a throwback, but that's just, you know, I see that shade of blue and that shade of gold. That's what I see. But I mean, this is good-looking cars. Of course, it wasn't almost a good-looking car. About clobbered the wall off of 2, but here he goes through 3 and 4. About lost it again. He's sawing on that thing as he's off of 4. Comes Matt Alverson to the line. That lap will be good enough for, yeah, it looks like 13th. So it's a 41.154. He'll be right behind Steve Affont, who he was just about 200ths off of him.
Say it, Dylan. I know you want to.
Oh, it's Heim time. Corey Heim is on track right now, the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series driver. Also drives in the ARCA Menards Series here and there, and he is the point leader. He is the point leader as well in the RaceEPI.com number 11. So I wanted to say it, you know, it's time right now. So as he is on track, I don't believe he's ran at Auto Club in real life. I could be wrong on that, but I don't believe he's not old enough, I don't believe, to have run it in the trucks. So, I mean, unless he was a West driver, as he will come around to the start-finish line, and Corey Heim has put his car on the pole at the moment. Corey Heim lays down a 40.514, couple hundreds faster than Brandon Hoff, but Corey Heim is your provisional pole sitter right now.
Perennial contender here on Monday Night Racing. Corey Heim missed last week's race, looking for a little bit of redemption here tonight, and he's going to be starting up front regardless if it's on the pole or not. As we see Ronnie Osmer with one of my favorite setups. It's basically just the Rowdy poster in the background.
That's
God,
a good
love
looking
that.
poster.
Yeah,
Anybody got a dude wipe?
I mean, I don't. I'm just chilling tonight.
That's a good product, by the way.
I'll take your word for it.
So, of course, Ronnie Osberg, he had a big weekend this last weekend, you know, with all the Cup and truck spotters. They normally, when you have a NASCAR weekend, they all spot all three races, but they had spotters special for Road America, and Ronnie was the spotter for Anthony Alfredo this last weekend at Road America.
Another Monday Night Racing veteran as he dips low across the line. 40.593 for him. He's going to be again in the top 5 as well. Clocking in P4 as Leighton Sabile now on track with another guy that I ran into at Pocono a couple weeks ago, working for that Venturini Motorsports team, as he's representing the Hog Tamers here tonight. Teammate with Corey Heim, and I believe also Monin Rahman as well. Don't know if we'll see him tonight, but Leighton Sabile, again, another threat here on these big, high horsepower, low downforce tracks, as he's clocking around there 3 and 4 in the 25.
You know, Leighton can really drive. I've been sim racing with him for a better part of 12, 15 years. So this guy can wheel. As he's on turn 4 as he comes down, cuts the apron, over to the start-finish line, and Leighton will put it P11, just ahead of James Bickford in 12th with a 40.709 here for Leighton Sabile.
And again, if you're watching at home, do note that these guys are going out reverse order from their practice speeds as well. So we do expect them to get faster and faster throughout tonight. Chase Cabry trying to chase down his little brother right now. Little brother Cole, last week's winner, clocking in at P5 right now. But the Cabry boys always fast here on Monday Night Racing. We expect nothing else out of Chase here tonight as he comes through 3 and 4, taking that down line, that low line down low, washing up a little bit as we've seen these drivers do coming out of 4. He'll pull it down again down low to the start finish line, and Chase Cabry gonna clock in with a 40 on the pole. He's on the pole by a great lap for him. That is fast too.
That's a phenomenal lap.
Wow.
So the Tampa, Florida native puts it on provisional pole, a full 10th ahead of Corey Heim. As we move on to our next driver, Joshua Slade in the 01 car. That's a very wide font. It looks like an upside-down 10 on the side of that car as you're on board with him.
Smooth getting through one.
Yeah.
It really, from the guys that we've seen sawing on those wheels, he really was smooth through there. Let's see if that results into a fast lap for him. And we should be getting faster and faster as we've seen the Junior Motorsports logos on the hood of that 01. Real smooth looking line for Josh Slate. Let's see if that results in a fast lap. You know, the pretty ones aren't always the fastest, but he's going to pull it down low at a 40.622.
Top 10.
Not going to be on the pole, but a solid top 10 qualifying run, right, Dylan?
That's pretty good. We'll see if it stands. If he stays in the top 10, we've got a handful of drivers left. One of them included Michael Fisher, who is crossing the line now. He will take his 1 lap. Again, just 1 lap qualifying here. So instead of the usually customary 2 laps, or usually customary just qualify on your own, we get a good look at everybody before they qualify, before they race tonight. So Michael Fisher going down the backstretch. This is a good looking scheme also. I get big Ryan Vargas vibes with the 30 on the side of it. He's had different schemes in the Craftsman Truck Series this year. So this is a good looking car here. Good looking line through 3 and 4, pretty smooth. As he comes off of 3 and 4, cuts it back down, probably, there he is, cutting across the apron a little later than some of the guys in the field, as he will clock in P3 for Michael Fisher with a 40.540, and he will punch in on the second row on the inside line in P3 right now. Talk about our next guy here, Mario Miranda.
Yeah, I love this kid. He's very respectful in the races. He's very talented at what he does, and he is fast wherever we go. That Sooner Esports Toyota, great kid. If he finishes in the top 3, great interview, as we talked about. Super respectful of the drivers out there, just trying to gain respect, and he's doing it because he's fast, and he tries to keep it as clean as he can. He's had some tough breaks here on Monday Night Racing this summer series. But what a talent, and just a really cool kid to talk to, as he's going to clock in, coming across the line with a 40.4. He's going to be on the front row.
At the moment, got a few more, might have something to say about it right now. But that's an excellent lap from old Super Mario, as DJ Cummings is on track now. He's in the NASCAR mobile. It's a big Ford logo on the back of that car. It's a good-looking car. Love the new branding that NASCAR has gone to with the NASCAR colors. It's almost clobbered the wall.
I think he did get the wall. Yeah, he's in the wall.
So we'll have to see if that voids his lap or not. If it does, it'd be a bad break for DJ Cummings. If his lap does not count because he clipped the wall, then we'll have to see.
Last week's runner-up at Talladega, and he's still sawing at that wheel. We'll see if they're going to count the lap, but maybe going to be a little bit slow. Maybe going to be just as quick as really anybody else. He's going to clock in with a 40.7. So he did scrub some time off there. I don't believe it counted his lap. I don't see him on the scoring. So yeah. All right, so DJ will start shotgun on the field then.
Yeah, he'll have a good view at the field though.
But DJ's a veteran of Monday Night Racing. He knows what he's doing. He's got 100 laps to get to the front. Don't rule him out just yet. He'll probably be in contention by the end of this thing, as we see now Nick Olson on the track in the number 24 car.
Can't miss this car. It's pretty bright. Fluorescent, but would you call it banana yellow? Almost say.
That's like day glow yellow. That's beyond any banana I've ever seen.
That's a good-looking car.
Absolutely.
He about loses it off of 4. As he comes down to the start-finish line, where does old Nick Olson place in? Position number 3. He will move to the second row with a 40.475. And a good lap for Nick Olson. He will have at least a top 6 starting spot this evening as the next car on track, Brandon Brown, in the number 12 Sim Seats Chevrolet, as you look at him there.
The Grid Esports cars are fast tonight. The Cabry boys are fast tonight. All the guys that we would normally expect, and Brandon Brown trying to knock one of them, knock Chase Cabry off the pole at this point. But again, you see the talent with these guys too. You've got the Truck Series winner in Corey Heim, a point leader in some of the National Touring Series, and he's only qualified P4 at this point. So these guys are super talented, as Brandon Brown's going to come to the line, dip it down low just like everybody else, nip that apron. Coming to the start-finish line, he's going to clock in with a 40.998. Not going to be good enough for a top 10 qualifying position at this point. But still a solid one for him. He's actually at 20th at this point.
So we are down to 2 drivers. One of the 2 remaining that have not set down a time, Alex Monteferrante, who will be on track now in the number 79. Think of anybody famous that's run the 79. Can you?
Is that a Derek Cope number? Did Derek Cope do that? Maybe?
I think maybe.
I mean, we're trying to get one Derek Cope reference in every Monday night. I don't know if you know that.
I've noticed that. So when I think of the 79, I think of the second car that they use in the Clip Boyer Esports fleet of cars in the Coke series.
Okay.
So the last time I remember that number, it was Brian Schoenberg that ran that number. So, I mean, I believe there's someone that's run that number since, but that's the only other 79 I could think of that's not like an offensive lineman in the NFL. But here comes Alex around turn 3 and 4. A little loose off of 4 as he'll come down to the start-finish line. And where does Alex line up? He'll be P19 with a 40.812. We got one guy left. Lay down a lap. Who is he?
Bailey Turner, man. I like this kid a lot. Always comes with a great-looking number 5 car, and you see the
cheesy car.
Is that a Terry Labonte or is that a Kyle Busch?
I think that's Kyle Busch. That's got to be
It's a great-looking car. Yeah. He either goes all out with these paint schemes or he just shows up with a fast black race car, and he is a wheel man for sure. Bailey Turner, the only one left to try to knock Chase Cabry off the pole tonight, and he is a threat to do so.
Here he comes through 3 and 4. He'll bring the Hendrick Motorsports number 5 Chevrolet Monte Carlo SS. He's a little loose off 4. Can he knock Chase Cabry off the pole?
And he's got a chance at it. Great looking lap so far.
And he will not. He will be P18. He will place in between James Bickford and Ray Richard with a 40.776. Now, I believe that's the last guy that we have to qualify, unless they have anyone join late. I don't believe that we have.
I'll tell you what, Dylan, really not a lot of surprises in qualifying for me. You know, just running down through the field, we knew the Chase Cabrys and the Ronnie Osmers, They were going to be fast and starting up front. And we even talked about it a little bit ago. James Bickford has historically not qualified well throughout this summer series, but he still shows up and gets the win either through strategy or sheer speed. So we're looking at Chase Cabry right now with that Reckless Society sponsorship on the hood of his 39 Ford Fusion. So he will be starting on the pole as he has done a handful of times throughout this summer series.
So again, we have 2 Cabrys in the top 10. Chase Cabry on the pole. So out of a 28-car field, looks like Chase Cabry is going to be on the pole again. I don't believe we have anyone else that's going to run again. Adam Boyles did not lay down a time. DJ Cummings clipped the wall, and it looks like he'll start shotgun on the field as they're going to go through the drivers' meeting, it sounds like. And should be a good race tonight. The only surprise that I've seen now, I know he hasn't qualified the best, but I expected James Bickford to be a little higher, in qualifying. I thought he'd be around. I knew he wasn't an amazing qualifier, but I was kind of picturing top 10 maybe, but he's starting, looks like 17th tonight.
Honestly, I feel like that's traditionally where he's qualified throughout this summer. If my memory is serving me right, and it has been a busy summer with a lot of race cars, I don't know if he has qualified in the top 10 for a single race throughout the summer series, but he has won 3 out of the 5. So I am sure that you could start him shotgun on the field and he would still be able to pull through. So we're going to see how he does that tonight. He's won both of the Gen 4 races here throughout the summer series. So he's got a little bit of work cut out for him tonight, but I mean, he's been spun around. He's had to win a fuel mileage race in both of his wins this season. So he is a threat, I feel like, no matter where he starts on this 2-mile track.
So now it's time to get things underway as we're only a couple minutes away from the green flag in tonight's event. We're going to take you through the starting grid for tonight's event. So on the front row will be Chase Cabry and Mario Miranda in row number 1. Row number 2 will have Nick Olson and Corey Heim. It's Heim time over there in 4th. Row number 3, Michael Fisher and Brandon Hopp. Hate to tell him, I think his Yankees are selling. Row number 4, Ford Martin and Ronnie Osber, the spotter last week for Anthony Alfredo at Road America. And Colt Cabry, Matt Stalnick will be row number 5 here tonight.
And getting into the second group of qualifiers, Gary Sexton rolling off P11. Great starting spot for the pride of Dewshore, Pennsylvania. Alongside Josh Slate in the 01. Row 7, Corey Doozer in that beautiful number 14 car. And Art Reimer in the 49 rolls off P14. Row 8, Landon Polinsky in the 22. And Leighton Sabile, one of the Hog Tamers guys, rolling off P16. Back in row 9, it is James Bickford, the aforementioned back-to-back winner here in the Gen 4 Series, and Bailey Turner in that fast number 5. Row 10, Ray Richer in the 57. Great paint scheme for him tonight. And Alex Monteferrante in the number 79. Rolls off P20.
Love how you said that. Row number 11, Francis Pelletier will roll off 21st. Alongside him, Brandon Brown, P22. Steve Affont. The next row number 12, he will be in 23rd. Matt Alberson rolling off in 24th place. Julian Rickey, followed by Joseph Gregory in the next row. That'll be row 13. And the final row, DJ Cummings and Adam Boyles. Neither of them set down a time here in qualifying as we're ready to go racing here at Auto Club Speedway.
Maybe a little bit of a short field tonight, but it should still be a fantastic contest. A lot of the regular Monday Night Racing ringers in the field tonight, and they are all looking fast. Any favorites or any to watch out for, Decon?
I mean, the guy that's won the last 2, James Bickford's always a threat. If I had to make a pick, I would probably say Corey Heim.
I mean, that's a safe money bet, right?
As I say, oh yeah, the guy that's won the last 2, I said, oh, this other guy that's not him.
I love the kid. I hyped him up in the pre-race roll when he was qualifying. If I had to take a number, I'll take the number 89, Mario Miranda, to pull off the win tonight. Yeah,
realistically, there's not a bad pick in the field.
Honestly, no. And that's the fun thing about Monday Night Racing. As someone who bleeds motorsports, right? This is some of the most exciting racing you will see on a weekly basis. I am maybe sitting here in the broadcast booth, but I am a fan of what these guys are doing here on Monday nights. So it's going to be an incredible show over this next 100 laps here from Southern California on that beautiful old weathered surface that we had a bit of due to in real life earlier this year. But it'll live on here on iRacing, and it is going to produce one heck of a show here tonight as we roll off on this parade lap for 100 laps around the old lady of Southern California.
So we're ready to go racing here. 28 cars, 100 laps. This is Monday Night Racing and the Highland Homes Roofing 200. Pace car ready to go off. It will duck down to pit road. The field is in the hands of Chase Cabry. Barney the flagman will have the green flag here. And we are ready to go racing here at Auto Club. Come off of turn number 4 to complete lap number 1. Mario Miranda will lead lap number 1 as it looked like they were 5 wide in the back of the field.
I was ready to scream it out because holy cow, did they fan out like you would not. It was a beautiful thing. Looked like the front half of the field kind of had a bit of a breakaway there, but that was probably because they were all just stacked up side by side through 1 and 2 as we go on board with Ronnie Osmer. Battling in the top 10, battling in the top 4 at this point as Brandon Houff looking low. Great start to this race in Southern California.
You know, we mentioned in the pre-race, there's going to be multiple lanes available. So it's going to depend on driver comfort level, driver uncomfort level, on what they determine to do as Chase Cabry, Mario Miranda can't figure this out yet as Miranda has led both laps so far, but they've been side by side here to start this event. As you'll see, he's running up against the wall as we're on board with Mario Miranda, as down on the bottom is Chase Cabry. It's a good look at Mario there.
Great look at him, and it seems like they're pulling the field at this point too, battling side by side. That's what you got to love about this Auto Club Speedway. Chase again going to look low going into 3 and 4 there. Mario's going to cut him off, and it should once again be Mario's lap. But again, as the field gets spread out, still side by side racing. There's that Brandon Houff in the back of the pack. Great racing here as there's still a battle at the line between the front two as they continue to pull away from the field.
Well, Mario's been able to clear Chase Cabry now as Cabry is all on him like a cheap suit as they pulled about a 0.5 of a second lead over 3rd, 4th, and 5th as they can't figure it out. It looks like Michael Fisher is going to move into 3rd place. Corey Heim and Ronnie Osmer are running for 4th and 5th. There's an onboard of our GoPro man, Gary Sexton, as that's a good look from atop his forehead. I believe that adds a 10th or 2 there as Gary Sexton trudging along here in the race. All 28 cars still in the event as they are side by side at the line. Miranda's led every single lap so far through lap number 4.
Hasn't been easy, though.
No.
It's been by about a fender every lap as Chase Cabry does not want to get it up, not content to just sit there and ride. This could play into the hands of Fisher, though, as he looks to track down that front, too. We see it again, though. He's going to catch the draft going into 3 and 4, probably pop out here, and they'll be side by side once we get back to the line.
So you see an eclectic buffet of different lines here. You see people running in the middle as Miranda gets loose out in front of Cabry. He's able to save it as that was the first sketchy moment so far of the race as he's running Cabry all the way to the bottom. See a lot of guys running the top, running the middle, running the bottom. There's about 5 or 6 usable lanes here on this racetrack.
And you got to love it. And someone who competes regularly in this series, like you just got to appreciate racing around the same guys that have been racing around really all summer long and throughout Monday Night Racing history, right? You know, the first couple of races of the season, there was a lot of shakiness. Didn't really know who a lot of these guys were racing around. A lot of cautions were
just as field, they get it saved. What a save! Miranda ran through Chase Cabry. They both saved it. Michael Fisher's going to cash in now. He'll move up to 2nd as now Miranda's going to try to run away, as Cabri might want some payback, as we'll take a look at that replay. As Cabri did the slide job on Miranda. Miranda cut him no slack. That was about our first caution of the day, but a pair of good wheelmen there were able to keep us under green.
Absolutely. We've talked about all night long Mario Miranda looking to gain a little bit of respect, but maybe not, maybe taking a little bit right there as he gets into the back of Chase. Still like a bit of a racing deal, though. But again, no slack here in the early on as Mario Miranda continues to lead. He's led every single lap so far here in California.
So, yeah, I mean, it's been without multiple events that have gone on so far, but Michael Fisher's been the big winner out of this. You know, I can't imagine that they would do this too much longer without burning up tires, so I can't imagine Chase Cabri will forget that later in the race.
Oh, no, absolutely not. What's that Jimmy Spencer line? Elephants don't forget, something like that?
Something like that.
You're old school, you remember what was
I'm not that. You keep acting like I'm some
in 2003, 2004, if you're talking about Bill Elliott in the 9, you absolutely remember.
I was 8 years old then. You act like I'm just some dinosaur lumbering around, just watching racing my whole life, which well, at some point I will be. But
is that wrong? You lumbering around now watching racing all the time?
Oh, yeah, that's true. Let's take a look at James Bickford there as we had a look at him on our screen. He's up to P15, up about 2 spots. The big gain is DJ Cummings, who started shotgun on the field behind James Bickford, and now he's moved up 11 spots. He's almost inside the top 15.
We were talking about that side bet earlier in the evening. At Stallneck, Sexton, Chase Cabri, Brandon Houff, Nick Olson, Ronnie Osmer. I guess it's Chase Cabri at this point, leading that side bet as we're about a tenth of the way through the race. So again, one of those things that we're going to keep our nose on throughout the night and just make sure who's going home with a little, as we're calling it tonight, haircut money at the end of the night. As we're on board with DJ Cummings, last week's runner-up.
Trolling back, we have one car spinning into pit road. Can't see who that is. We had one car, I couldn't tell who it was. It's Julian Ricky who was spinning. He almost went down pit road, but he has it corralled. I don't believe that's going to be a caution as they've kept it green. As Julian Ricky running side by side there in the back, looking like, oh, he got a little help. Who's that behind? A lot of help is
he got help, but he was losing it. He was sideways, I think, when he got bumped. So
yeah, we finished him off, but we stayed green.
It looked like Chase Cabri battling back against Fisher here for second after that bump that sent him back to third from Mario Miranda out of the lead. Chase Cabri down low, looking for some breathing room. He's going to try to pull the slide job again on Fisher. It's not going to be enough as he pulls alongside, going down the back straight.
So we're coming to the completion of lap number 11. Mario Miranda has led every lap of it so far. And he almost found himself in the wall about 4 or 5 laps ago, but him and Chase were able to keep it going. As in second place, looks like Chase Cabri still going to be side by side with Michael Fisher. Mario Miranda's led every lap of this one.
You got to look at Cole Cabri too. Start a little bit further back. He's picked up a couple positions right now. Into the top 5 in that fast black race car. Looking low on Corey Heim. Last week's winner from Talladega, finally able to pull off the win here on Monday Night Racing over DJ Cummings. So he's looking to battle as it looks like Corey Heim now going to look low on Fisher for third. And maybe more.
Saying it's Heim time here as he also gets to Chase Cabri, about puts the bumper to him as Chase has now moved into second place. He's gotten past the Michael Fisher machine as it looks like Corey Heim has as well. They are single file through around the top 7 as we have a little action. Brandon Houff trying to work his way higher up into the standings as he's fighting alongside Ronnie Osper and Matt Stallneck. They're in 7th place, but we're pretty much single file up front here as the gap between Miranda and Cabri has shortened by about 1.5 tenths up front as you see Ronnie Osper there. Again, Ronnie Osper had a good opportunity last week. Normally you have all 3 of the touring series at one track, Cup, Xfinity, and Truck, but if it's Cup and Truck, they try to keep all their people there and they sent basically a skeleton crew, and old Ronnie got the opportunity to spot the number 78 Dude Wipes machine of Anthony Alfredo this last weekend at Road America.
good opportunity for him. Good opportunity even here tonight to show he can wheel though too, right?
Oh yeah. He's made some. I believe he's raced in real life before. I mean, he's a pretty good driver. I've raced with him a bunch in many different leagues, and I've never had an issue with him, and he's always been up front or close to up front in any of the leagues that I've raced with him. So as you're on board, that was Michael Fisher, by the way.
Yeah, on board with Fisher as we see him fan house still 3 wide here. That's Matt Stolnick in the 41 looking for a little bit of margin room. That's one of the guys in the pool right in front of him in Brandon Houff. Houff able to maintain that position right now, but they're all chasing Chase Cabry for the big haircut money tonight.
So I want to point something out while we have Matt Stolnick up on video there. Does he have this race on in the background there?
And that absolutely looks
that looks like, I mean, that's pretty good. I mean, he didn't have many viewers back there, but I mean, it looks pretty good as we have him full screen there. He's got the race set up behind him. That's pretty good.
What he needs is somebody sitting in those chairs behind him too, or
start cheering. Yeah.
That's what I love this. I love going to the racetrack to smell the sound, everything else, but it's fun to be involved in a race and have your dog at your feet, right? Which is what I got going on with Guy the dog here tonight. He's passed out. He has no idea what's going on.
And it's rolling front. Cabry spin him into the wall. He responded, Mario Miranda, and punted him into the wall as he gets Arca brake too. Couldn't see who that was. As Cabry took the opportunity and did not pass up on it. And it sends Mario Miranda into the wall and into our first caution of the evening.
Oh, wow. Mario Miranda has tried to earn the respect of everybody, and one little bump to Chase here earlier in the race to send him back to third, and Chase just closes the gap and puts him into the first turn wall. Tough break, tough racing deal as that's
coming in. You know, we mentioned it earlier. Would Cabry remember what happened earlier? And by golly, he remembered, unless, I mean, it looked like he just flat ran him over there in 1 and 2 as you're on board with Art Reimer, just nowhere to go. Couldn't get it blowed up in time as he runs through him, but he might be able to get that car fixed. That's wheel damage there, but so looks like Mario Miranda will have some damage to fix here as Chase Cabry is your new leader, your first lead change of the night.
Wow, what a break for Miranda. Had led every lap until that point and was looking fast. My pick to win this thing. And I guess the broadcaster Jink has turned out early.
Well,
that's Mario Miranda.
If that's the case, Corey Haim's in some trouble. So, but again, that was a very interesting incident there between Mario Miranda and Chase Cabry as we're coming down for pit stops here. It looks like everybody's going to come down. I'd have to imagine the fuel window's around 35 to 40 laps, so still have to pit again before the end of this race. As everyone is coming down pit road, nobody has stayed out. So I'd have to imagine everyone's going to come get 4 fresh Goodyears and a full tank of Sunoco fuel.
Long pit road here in Fontana. It's just taken forever to get down. See how these guys fire off, though.
So it's 55 miles an hour down pit road here at Auto Club Speedway in Fontana, California. Beautiful afternoon for sim racing as Miranda limps his vehicle back down to the pits right now. So the first car off pit road, a good race off there. It's Chase Cabry and then Corey Haim, the first 2 off pit road. So, and then everyone, no real upsets off there. Nobody gained too many spots there. Maybe a spot or 2. Colt Cabry might have gained a spot over Brandon Houff. Brandon Houff gained a spot too. But that's the completion of pit stops. We are under caution here in the Highland Homes Roofing 200. This is Monday Night Racing, and this is Podium Esports. We're going to take a short little break. We'll be back in a moment.
Mach 10. Let's give Mach 10.
You're cleared for takeoff.
FrontStretch.com, providing up-to-date news, analysis, and commentary on all the latest in the world of motorsports. Check out Front Stretch YouTube page for post-race content after the checker flag waves for most NASCAR events, giving you up-close interviews with your favorite drivers and the stories that matter each weekend. For the best seat of the track and the best view on the web, visit FrontStretch.com.
Back here for the restart here on lap number 19 here in the Monday Night Racing Summer Series. Chase Cabry and Corey Heim on the front row. Field is at the attention of Chase Cabry. Barty the flagman has the flag once again, and we are rolling. Back under green here at Auto Club.
Heck of a jump for Chase there.
That was a good start.
5-car length lead already.
An excellent start for him. Heim got shuffled to the top. He tried to block the top, about got wrecked. As we had a lot of moving and shaking there at the start, as Michael Fisher is going to try to clear Heim off of 2. And he's going to have him cleared. He's going to move into second spot. Of course, 2, he's got an EPI train behind him as it's Leighton Sabile and Corey Heim there. As they fan down into 3 and 4, they are side by side from about 3rd on back. Again, a lot of lanes being used here at this racetrack.
Do want to note that Mario Miranda is back out on track, running at the back of the pack. Art Reimer from that first caution, he remains on pit road at this point, so we might have a little bit of attrition there early on in the going.
Hate to see that for Art Reimer. He was running pretty decent. He was running inside the top 20 when that happened. So
nowhere to go for him as we watch this battle in the top 5. As it's Leighton Sabile up top, getting a little bit squirrely coming out of 2 onto the back stretch. Right now, he's linked up with his Hawk Tamers teammate Corey Heim right in front of him.
Now up front, Michael Fisher goes to the bottom. Michael Fisher wants the lead. He'll make the move into 3 and 4 and get past Chase Cabry. Cabry going to try the crossover move. Here they come off the 4. Looks like Michael Fisher is going to be our 3rd leader of the night here in the Highland Homes Roofing 200.
Power moving. This is the kind of racetrack, too, where you can get into a rhythm and, maintain those tires, manage those tires, and stick up front for quite a while. We're about a 5th of the way through this thing, but looking at our 3rd race leader here tonight, and Fisher tries to just settle in and click off some fast laps, maintain the lead there.
So single file through the first 3 or 4 cars, as now they're going to get side by side. Corey Doozer, we haven't mentioned him tonight since qualifying, as he's going to go side by side with Cole Cabry. He's going to have the 3rd position off of turn 4. Got a little loose, but he clears him, and Corey Doozer moves into the 3rd position. He's up 10 spots from where he started tonight.
And Doozer, not a name that we usually bring up a lot here on Monday Night Racing, having a great run here tonight. Like you mentioned, Decon, not the best qualifying effort. Now he's top 3 as we go on board with James Bickford mid-pack. Well, he's having that battle tonight. It's not going to be an easy one if he wants to get his 3rd win in these Gen 4 cars here on Monday Night Racing.
So you mentioned multiple people that have won in this series so far. James Bickford currently, we mentioned he's kind of just treading water back there in 15th position, fighting for 14th with Alex Monteferrante. He has gained 2 spots from where he qualified. And, it's always the cream rises to the top. We say right now, well, he's around 15th, but you never know when it gets to around 10 to go. I mean, I don't see why that 29 machine can't rear his ugly head once again.
No, I mean, absolutely not. He's been spun around a couple times. I think the last race that he won, he was around twice, at least in that race. Had some issues, thought he was written off. We had even talked about, there's going to be a different winner tonight. Nah, because then James Bickford just shows up and wins the thing at the end, as he's been known to do a couple times this season. So just one of those numbers we're watching out for. But as we talked about earlier, not a bad pick in the field, as it looks like Brandon Houff is going to try to put his name on the leaderboard, at least at the top of the leaderboard, battling with Fisher here for the lead. Fisher looks to block into 1. Houff going to go low and try to cut that corner. It looks like he's going to be able to pull off this pass and the slides jump into 1 as Fisher losing a bunch of ground through 1 and 2.
So Houff trying to do a lot more winning than his Yankees have lately. He moves into the P1 position so far. To see if he could become our 4th different leader this evening as they head down to 3 and 4. That's a man that we haven't We haven't mentioned Brandon Hoff just a whole lot tonight, as he started P6 tonight, quietly moved his way up. Of course, played a little bumper cars up front as we come off the form. Brandon Hoff's going to lead this lap as we are at the quarter pole in this race, 75 laps to go. Again, there is also a time limit in this race, so it's either 100 laps plus the 3 green, white checkers if necessary, or 2 hours. And we haven't come close to that time limit yet this year, but it's there just in case, they decide to, get a little crafty at the end of the race.
A 2-hour time limit on a 200-mile race. That's something I could probably do in my Toyota Yaris, but that's without the cautions that we've been known to experience here on Monday Night Racing. So hopefully that won't come into play tonight. As we look at Gary Sexton actually there on the top side battling against those Hog Tamers teammates. Great run right here early for the pride of New Shore, Pennsylvania. Gary Sexton in that number 13 Toyota.
Of course, he's got the interesting camera view of the entire server. He's still got the GoPro strapped to his head. That's a good point of view. So another guy that does this, and you pay attention to it on Coke Racing Nights, is Garrett Main. So this is just a good point of view. You see this in real life with a helmet cam, but you never really think about it in sim racing because essentially you're looking at a helmet cam anyway. But this is just a good point of view to see what these sim racers are looking at here in the race.
I mean, that top shot, you see the keyboard there, but outside of that, you're sitting in a real race car. I've actually sat in Gary's rig before, and it's incredible. Again, from someone who hasn't really experienced sim racing all that much, but has been around race cars quite a bit. I was so impressed by his setup and just what they've got going on there with the Dirty Air Studios number 13. So great shot out of Mooresville, North Carolina, and Gary's living room. Just to see what these guys are working with in their homes. He's again having a great run just outside of the top 5 and 6th.
So that's one thing you mentioned. You look at his sim rig. You can really be competitive in anything you want. I mean, personally, when I've run in these races, of course, I'm usually a competitor, not a broadcaster. But I have a Driving Force GT from 2007, and I'm still, I'm able to compete with anybody. So I mean, you can have everything from a wheel slapped on a desk to a big sim rig like Gary Sexton has, GoPro not included. But it just shows how iRacing is, where you're able to compete like that no matter what. As we're on board with Bailey Turner. He's up 7 spots from the beginning, started 18th, almost creeping into the top 10 as he loses a spot up there. He's up 6 spots now, but Bailey's had a very solid night so far in that Cheez-It car.
Yeah, and again, he's one of those names that I brought up earlier in the evening. He's typically super fast. He's had a lot of success really on the super speedway side of the series throughout the year. But Bailey Turner, absolutely a name to look out for as a contender here this evening and really next week at Daytona when we step back into those next-gen cars for the I can't even say it. There's too many S's. Super Speedway Series season finale. There we go.
That's going to be a fun one. I can't wait for that one. But in the time being, we have 2 more remaining here in the Gen 4 series. Brandon Hoff still your leader up front, Michael Fisher, and then we got a pair of Cabries there in 3rd and 4th, followed by Corey Doozer and Gary Sexton in tow behind him. So good looking race so far. They are pretty single file up through around the top 10. There's a little side-by-side racing going on in the mid-pack as we're on board. Matt Stolnick once again. Well, it looks like a big gaggle of cars in front of him. So as he's been running the bottom a lot of the night, but you see, look, that's a good view right there. You see the cars running up against the wall. We've got the cars running in the middle, car running from a lane up from the bottom, and Matt running the bottom fully. So you have multiple options here, it seems like. It all just depends on driver comfort.
I mean, it's a thing of beauty, right? Like just a fan out, 5 wide, all coming back together, going down the straightaway. Nobody's bumping at this point. I mean, the only contact we've really had that I've seen all night long has been when Chase got into Mario for the lead. So clean race, and they are just, I mean, it's like dancing, right? To watch these cars just fan out. Great shot there through 1 and 2 as they just fan out, and then they'll all condense back together to get as single file as they can coming down that straightaway. Sniff that draft off the car in front of them, make most speed. Going down into 3 and 4. On board now with Brandon Brown. He's having He's having an okay night, running in the lower teens at this point, just trying to hold on right now and bide his time, keep his tires on that car, and march up to the front of the field. Not the best qualifying effort out of him tonight in that Sim Seats Chevrolet. But again, there's not a bad pick in the field, and with a little bit of strategy, he can be right up front here to contend at the end of the evening.
Oh, absolutely. As still have all the cars running in the race. Art Reimer's back on track. He is 10 laps down. He is in the lucky dog position, however, so never know, a handful of cautions. Art could be back in this thing, but he is 10 laps down at the moment. Everyone else on the lead lap. The top 27 all on the lead lap now. Remember that James Bickford guy we were talking about that was just hanging around the midfield? Well, he's up to ninth.
No,
he's up to ninth.
Not that guy.
And he's up to ninth. He's battling for, he just got past Gary Sexton, so he is now up into eighth as we got contact, car into the infield. Car spinning around as the caution is out. Joshua Slate spinned. Tell you what, that's great timing. DJ Cummings got sent to the infield. I think he's okay. As somebody got clobbered in the back. Who was that? It looked like Gary Sexton as well.
Yeah,
he got put in the wall.
Looks like it started with Gary just getting a little bit loose off of Alpha 4. You can see him there in that white and black, number 13 up high. He just gets a little bit sideways. I don't even think he makes contact with DJ. DJ just dips down low. The 0-1 spinning of Slate, I think that was completely unrelated to Gary's incident, but if we can track in on Gary, he got clobbered later on in that incident. So he got into the wall as he rode the wall across the start-finish line. Boy, he had some major issues with that car. It looks like, was that Ford that came in and hit him?
No, that was Julian Ricky that came in there. Goodness gracious. I think he was expecting him to keep rolling down, but Gary did the right thing and held his brakes. But Julian, just as we're on board with him here, I mean, he had plenty of time, but I think he was expecting him to keep rolling, but Gary just didn't keep rolling, and he pounds right into the back of him. As we have another caution, as Gary is not happy in the chat, as you can imagine, as it wasn't going to be too bad of an accident for him, and then he gets run over.
Just absolutely clobbered. That's the kind of incident that sends a sim driver to the hospital. And it's that hard of a hit that you can feel it even with the computer in between you and the sim. So tough break right there for a lot of drivers, to include Sexton, who we've been on board with a bunch tonight, and was running solidly in the top 10 when that all broke out.
So we're going to come down, have another set of pit stops. Look like Brandon Hoff, the only one in the top 5 to come down pit road. Now this will get interesting here soon, as let's see, Michael Fisher stayed out, Chase and Cole Cabry stayed out, Corey Doozer stayed out, James Bickford will move into the top 5.
No way,
Nick
that
Olson,
guy?
yeah,
top
that
5?
guy. Nick Olson, Alex Monteferrante stayed out, Matt Alverson, and Art Reimer is the lucky dog. He's 9 laps down now, so the comeback is on for all Art Reimers. Everybody else is pitted. So we'll have to see who comes out and line up behind Matt Alverson. The top 9 have stayed out. Again, the fuel window is about 35 to 40 laps or so. So we'll have to see who comes out here first, as Brandon Hoff's going to lead the pack off of pit road. And then it's going to be Layden Sabile and Corey Heim. What you got?
Just going to comment on the fact that, we see the different strategies coming into play at this point, right? It looks like those guys that stayed out are playing for the end of the race and looking to maybe do one less pit stop than everybody else. We can talk about that when we go back to green.
Mach 10 Digital, introducing Mach 10 Digital, your partner for stunning video production and digital marketing solutions. One of our great sponsors this evening. From concept to creation, we bring your vision to life with precision and creativity. Elevate your brand with captivating visuals and impactful messaging. From weddings to real estate videography, contact us today at mach10digital.com for digital excellence. Mach 10 Digital, where innovation meets creativity. One of our great sponsors here on Monday Night Racing in the Summer Series.
When we see the Mach 10 Digital car, the 07 of Ford Martin, league owner. I believe he's the last league owner left in the race tonight after Gary took that hard hit. But great qualifying effort out of that 07 here this evening. And looking to continue his pretty solid run. He's had a couple missteps throughout this season. He's been involved in a couple controversies, but looking to redeem himself tonight with a solid run here in Southern California. Oh, we got a dog in the background. Oh man, we got Ford's dog in the background.
What's the dog's name there, Ford?
Easton. He's just he's hanging out here.
He's chilling.
Give me some strategies here for tonight. So East, come here.
I mean, that's who we really want to see. Like Ford, hang the wheel up. We'll just talk the dog all night long.
Put the headset on Easton. So.
Yeah, he's been good on strategy here tonight, and he said we should stay out and let's try to take a gamble. You know, we're not running really for points. We're going for a win. We're trying some different things, so we'll kind of see what happens here.
Ford stayed out of trouble tonight, but a good race for you so far. Anything you could tell us about the rest of the race that you're thinking about?
All these guys were too packed up for us to get all strung out and not get a caution, I think. So I think like if we can go about, I'd say 20 laps right here, 15, and get a caution, I think we'll be prime position. The guys that stayed out are going to be in a really, really good spot here.
Well, we're going to let you go, Ford. Appreciate the time. Good luck the rest of the way.
Great. Thanks, guys.
That was Ford Martin, the guy that signs everyone's check around here. So we will go back racing here. It'll be Michael Fisher, Chase Cabry on the front row. Got a pair of Cabrys inside the top three. The field is in the hands of Michael Fisher. He is inside the Geico restart zone, and they are away. Not as good of a start as we saw before, as it looks like Fisher and Cabry will be side by side as they head into turn one with Cole Cabry in tow as well.
And great racing now down through 1 and 2 after that caution. Let's see how those fresh tires and full fuel loads play, as it looks like Brandon Houff with a heck of a run, passing 3-4 cars through 1 and 2 in that red and black number 9, that old Casey Kane throwback as we've discussed. He's going to get another one going down the backstretch, and he might get another one. He's going to go right past Cole into 3 and 4s. Leighton Sabile's on his bumper. These guys are marching to the front of the field with those fresh tires. Holy cow, what a run. He's going to go all the way to the lead.
Well, this has been quite the restart. Now I think everyone's taking notes of that. Tires really matter in this one, as we have contact in the back, problems in the back. We have a car spinning, couple cars in the wall. Can't tell who that is. I believe it's Joseph Gregory, who's spinning towards the infield. Now he's got it saved, got a lot of front end damage there. As we'll take a look at that replay. At Podium Esports, they look like they're about to be 4 wide there, as the field just kind of accordioned, and whoever that was, he came down and he clipped the 19 of Francis Pelletier and just hit the wall and spun through the front stretch and did a little yard work there. He's about got clobbered by whoever that was. He about had another incident. I think that was Ray Richer that about clobbered him through the grass, but I mean, Ray's just doing some evasive driving as we're on board with him here, as he's seeing, oh my goodness.
I love Ray. I'd love to have been on board with him through that one.
Golly, well, he might have had a little incident during that. he was driving through the grass just fine, then he sees the 20 pop out of nowhere.
Hey,
so
we talked about that caution, though. Let's talk about that run Brandon Houff had. From where did he restart? Outside of the top 10 and past all those cars in one lap? You know, Jimmy Johnson, I think this is where he famously won in the Superman scheme, correct? And Brandon Houff, with those 4 fresh field goods on that Dodge, just charged up through the field to take the lead in 1 lap. Incredible run for him there to pass that many cars in 1 lap.
So we have the man that we just saw have a pretty good look at that one, as we're also looking at him on your screen, Ray Richer. Ray, you had a good look at that one, but you didn't expect it to be that good of a view.
Well, I tried to avoid him. I see it come down the track, and next thing you know, he's right in front of me. And you can't hit the brake in the grass, obviously, but you do your best at this point, you know, to hold on. But it did show I got car contact, but I didn't feel anything.
Car looks clean on our monitor and our screen here, but I mean, you just barely missed him. I mean, I think you could smell what he was having for breakfast there. As pretty clean on our end. But that was
nose hairs pretty quick, so.
But you know, you've been running around, you know, around 20th, 22nd all night. Is there any strategy coming to the end here? As you have a clean car right now, you have a full bill of health, better than probably what you thought you'd have there.
Well, let's put it this way. These cars are very loose in, very tight in, very loose out, and you really got to feather the throttle. It took a long time to kind of get that down. Last week, 2 weeks ago, I just got too hard into it and just touched the fence. I'm trying not to do that here, but to keep up with these guys, it's actually pretty decently easy, but yeah, you just got to keep the car underneath you is what it comes down to. But strategy right now is to try to keep the tires on it till the end. Obviously, we got more than half the race to go. With that being said, the tires are not in bad shape. I'll give something away right here. I didn't get tires last time, trying to save a set to the end if we need it. But otherwise, she turns pretty good. I can't knock it.
Well, that's pretty good. Hopefully that turns around for you. You get a little luck at the end there, but anybody you got to thank?
Right now, Bruzy Racewear, USA.com. Check them out for your race gear today. Racer gloves, what I got on right now tonight, part of their affiliates. Pro Auto Service while I'm at it. I know I didn't win, but what the hey, you're asking me to gas some people, so I'll take the chance. But no, Pro Auto Service, SK Sim Racing, and everybody else has helped me get this far. But Monday Night Racing, I finally got a chance to be a part of it, and I'm having a great time with it, fellas.
You know, you're a former podium commentator yourself. I'm just trying to fill some big shoes there.
Well, they're size 12s, and I'm a big guy as it is, so fill them as much as you can, boys.
Hooray, I appreciate it. Good luck the rest of the way.
Appreciate it, fellas. We'll see if we can get up there.
You bet. Go get them. That was Ray Richer there. He had a good look at that last one, as I believe everyone that did not take tires that last stop took tires now. As
Got to.
I mean, you have to. You saw how much of a difference it made there.
Cow. It was like those guys were standing still when Brandon Houff came by. Like, it was just like everyone else was tied to a pole, and Houff just marched from nowhere to the lead. So I guess that answers the question. Tires are a necessity. Ford actually pitted there as well, so his strategy went out the window. So we just talked to him, and yeah, we realized that strategy went out the window, and tires are vastly more important than anybody, I think, realized earlier on in the evening.
So we are 1 to green. The field is double file. Don't have a choose cone in this league. I've seen a lot of leagues that do that, but not like the big leagues in real life where you can decide which way you go. But Brandon Houff, Chase Cabry will be the front row. Leighton Sabile, hadn't mentioned him a whole lot, has moved up into third. Michael Fisher in fourth. Bailey Turner fifth. Cole Cabry over in sixth place. Corey Heim, time. James Bickford over in eighth. Corey Doozer and DJ Cummings, your top 10, as we're ready to go racing once again. So the field will come down off of turn number 4. The iRacing sedan will pull away, and the field is in the hands of Brandon Houff. Here with around 58 laps to go. Green flags in the air. We're back underway here at Auto Club. Great restart by Houff as they head down into turn number 1, as Leighton Sabile clears into second place. Bailey Turner in third. And then they fan out wide, 3-4 wide behind them, as they're 4 wide in the back. As we got wrecked. Problems off of turn number 2. We have cars spinning toward the infield. That is Alex Monteferrante, who has spun through the infield, and the caution is out once again.
A quick caution once again after really the first clean 37 laps or so, only one incident. We've had 3 quick cautions here as Alex Monteferrante in the 49 just down low.
Run over.
Just got run over by the 22 there. It's going to send him spinning down the backstretch. Very little damage, if any, on that number 79 car. As take a quick break here on Monday Night Racing.
Mach 10. Let's give Mach 10.
You're cleared for takeoff.
FrontStretch.com, providing up-to-date news, analysis, and commentary on all the latest in the world of motorsports. Check out Front Stretch YouTube page for post-race content after the checker flag waves for most NASCAR events, giving you up-close interviews with your favorite drivers and the stories that matter each weekend. For the best seat of the track and the best view on the web, visit FrontStretch.com.
Ready for the restart here in Auto Club. Don't forget the completion of this race. We will have the FrontStretch.com post-race show. Brought to you by Jared Haas, the host and his co-host, who's winning the race right now. Brandon Hoff, that's certainly not, a jinx or anything, as pace car is off right now as the field is in the hands of Brandon Hoff. Marty the flag man ready to go, ready to wave that green flag, and it's back in the air. Good start by Hoff. As now Bailey Turner, who moves up into second place alongside Leighton Sabile with Corey Heim in tow. And Chase Cabry rounding out the top five as they fan out into turn number one.
We keep talking about that number 5. Love those old NASCAR throwbacks running 1, 2 right now, the 9 and the 5, and then Leighton Sabile in that fast Toyota number 25 running third. His Hog Tamer's teammate Corey Heim, as you mentioned, back there in fourth. So the cream is definitely starting to rise to the top as we come up on the midway point here in tonight's contest. It looks like Haltho able to maintain the lead. Sabile, though, getting a great run off of 3 and 4. Who will lead it at the line? It's the number 9 of Brandon Houff in that Grit Esports number 9 Dodge.
It's a good-looking car there. So the last time these cars pitted, at least inside the top 6 or 7, was lap 35 as you're on board with Brandon Brown. Moving up into 7th place. Got past one of the Cabrys back there. Both the Cabrys starting to fall there. Wonder what's going on with them, if they're trying to save tires for later. But Brandon Brown running alongside Chase Cabry there as they headed to 3 and 4. Still, Brandon Hoff leading this pack. Bailey Turner and Leighton Sabile side by side. Then we're single file all the way back to this pack that we're in with Brandon Brown. As we're quickly approaching halfway here in Monday Night Racing, the Highland Homes Roofing 200 here at Auto Club.
Hey, and a little bit extra incentive again. We keep talking about that side bet that some of the guys got going on tonight. Brandon Houff right now leading the race, and he'd be taking home that prize pool. We've got Matt Stolneck still in contention. Gary Sexton pretty much out of it at this point. Chase Cabry's also involved. Nick Olson and Ronnie Osmer, but right now they're all chasing that number 9 of Brandon Houff, who's going to eke out now to about a 0.2 of a second lead, but you can throw a blanket under him there at the front of the field over Leighton Sabile as he tries to run him down.
So Sabile about 0.2 behind, Bailey Turner 0.3 behind there. As you're on board with DJ Cummings trying to break into the top 10, got Matt Stolneck ahead of him. As this is a pretty good battle for 5th place right now. As actually they're both running down Corey Heim, so this could end up being the battle for 4th place as DJ trying to fit the nose in there. He was spinning out not too long ago. So a good comeback for DJ Cummings.
Absolutely, and he ran second last week. We talked to him in the post-race show, and we all know that he's a veteran of Monday Night Racing, a veteran of sim racing. He knows what it takes to win and contend in these situations. A 2-time winner on Monday Night Racing started shotgun on the field tonight after getting with the wall during his qualifying lap. as we see a little bit of a battle back in the pack with some guys that have had issues earlier this evening, as Mario Miranda battling back now to 8th position after his incident early on in the race. Led the first 16 laps of this thing before getting punted out of the way by the number 39 of Chase Cabry. He's looking to just show everybody how fast he is after hard contact with that turn 1 wall. He's back up solidly into the top 10, looking for more.
Now, this could get a little fun here if him and Chase Cabry meet up. So, I guess we'll see here shortly. Oh yeah, they've already passed him. So, but Miranda's been able to get that car fixed with all the cautions that we've had. You know, the way these cars are, as long as you don't knock a wheel off or have any engine damage, we have a caution on the racetrack. A couple cars spinning through the infield.
Looked like Fisher, Gary Sexton, the number 30 of
Adam Boyles is in it. Oh, wow, there's a couple cars. Corey Doozer, big time damage on him. He's missing the whole front clip. What happened here?
But it looks like Doozer just got a little, no, where did it start?
Oh my goodness.
Fisher got run over by the 19.
Yeah, it looks like Fisher just got run over, and then, the 14, he hit the end of pit road wall, knocked the front end off. That's not very good, so that's going to be extensive damage for Corey Doozer, who was running inside the top 5 earlier. As we're on board with Michael Fisher, looks like he got tagged by, couldn't see who that was, I believe that was Francis Pelletier. As they were sent through the infield, Corey Doozer just boops the end of pit road there and knocks off the front end, so it's going to be a lot of damage to fix there. A lot of bear bond going to be used in that pit stall for the Corey Doozer machine. So back under caution here at Auto Club. We have just passed the halfway mark. Brandon Hoff, you're still your leader. Mario Miranda matriculating his way back into the top 10. We thought his car would be too damaged, but with all the cautions that we've had, he's had plenty of time to fix that car back up and get back in contention, Darren.
Yeah, absolutely. And why don't you explain, Decon, like what happens? There is no fast repairs on these things. For a first-time watcher or listener, if you're just listening along too, explain like how these cars get fixed under a caution, or really how the damage repair works here on Monday night.
So there's a lot of cars, as we'll have a lot of cars coming down pit road. Brandon Hoff going to be the Lone Ranger. No, everyone's going to stay out. But anyway, so a lot of these cars have the new damage model on iRacing. Basically, if you don't destroy the engine and you don't knock a wheel off of it, you could pretty much get this car pretty much as good as it was on the showroom floor. So it didn't look like Mario had any damage last time we saw him, as we could see if we could try to dial up Mario Miranda here and see what's going on here. But I believe he got all of his damage fixed, and we'll see how he is.
Yeah,
Mario Miranda, it's Decon up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir, I do.
So we had a little incident earlier, but we were able to get all the damage fixed. How much damage did you have to fix, and do you feel in a comfortable enough position to, get back up at the front here, even with the damage that you had?
I don't know if I feel comfortable, because we only really had a short run. I think I really notice any damage I have when it gets to the longer ends, but I think I would have been fine with just the spin that Chase gave me, but that hit from, I forget who it was, but that second hit was really what killed the car. But we got everything fixed now, and I'm back inside the top 10. Car feels decently good. I know I still have a little damage, but I feel fairly confident in it.
I'll go watch you. I mean, you were strong at the start of the race. Tell us about where you're at right now.
P7.
No, in real life.
Oh, real life, it's been a struggle recently. My car caught fire back in July or June, and we've been, just trying to fix the damage ever since. We don't have the money like a lot of people do, and an incident like that really takes you out for the whole year. And that feeling of having to come to the conclusion of you can't race for the rest of the year really sucks. But we're saving our money, collecting our sponsors, and we're really going to try to hit the road, for the 24 season, bigger and better car, better equipment, traveling more. We're really going to go out with a bang next year, try to make the most out of it.
So I'm going to ask you that question one more time, and that's my bad for not being more specific. You're racing in a specific location right now. What would that location be? What's the significance?
Yeah, so I'm in Oklahoma, and I raced at a local track at Hallett, which is Oklahoma's only road course. But you know, we plan to travel up and down the Midwest, and maybe even travel out to Charlotte to do the Roval, because they host legend cars at the Roval. So, you know, next year we have a lot of big plans. We, you know, plan to come out with announcements later in the winter.
Boomer Sooner, good luck the rest of the way, Mario.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate the time, man. Got anybody else you want to thank before we go green?
Just gotta thank OU Esports for letting me borrow their office, let me borrow their PC that is making me run 200 frames right now. So just shout out to all of them and everyone who supports and helps me to be here.
Hey, man, I appreciate it. Good luck the rest of the way, Mario.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
That was Mario Miranda. Finally got the answer we were looking for there. As we're going back green here. Front row, Brandon Hoff, Leighton Sabile here. As we are coming to 45 laps to go here in Monday Night Racing. The pace car is off. Field's in the hands of Brandon Houth. And we're ready to go dancing once again. The green flag is back in the air as we're back on the way. It's an EPI train on the top. Corey Heim and Leighton Sabile on the top trying to go against Brandon Houth as he gives a little block over to Leighton Sabile as they head down to turn number 1.
And again, we see that great restart here in California. Fanning out, I guess we got 3 wide there around 10th position. I think that's Josh Slade, Nick Olson on the high side as they fan out again behind Brandon Houth and that fast number 9 Dodge. Leighton Sabile again slots in second. Let's see if we can click off some fast, clean laps here. We had a rash of cautions there through that mid part of the race. See if we can keep it clean as Bailey Turner now running in the 4th position right behind Corey Heim as Leighton Sabile slides it big coming out of 4 to the line. That's going to let Houth get out to a little bit more of a lead. Going to pull 0.2 of a second on the number 25 going down into turn number 1.
It's pretty single file now. Brandon Houth is under attack by 2 EPI machines there in 2nd and 3rd. And then the Cheez-It Mobile there. And then look who's back into 5th place right now. Mario Miranda, after he was caught up in that accident, lap 19. And rounds out your top 5. We're pretty single file here all throughout the top 10. A little bit of action at the edge of the top 10. As we're on board with Chase Cabry now. As someone get a little squirrely in front of him. That's the logo-less machine of the Landon Polinsky there. As again, no stickers on that car. So if you know you're Chevrolet or Ford, we are in automotive country. We're pretty close to at least. Actually, no, that's in Michigan. I'm an idiot. Wow. I don't know where anything else.
Same-ish track.
Yeah, it's that same-ish, but
where are you racing tonight, Decon? Where are you at tonight? Specifically, where are you at, buddy?
Yeah, I know. I'm a big dummy, but yeah. Anyway, so the EPI cars have Brandon Houth going as they were able to get a big push down the back straightaway, going to the inside. It's Heim time. He's looking for the lead now alongside Brandon Houth. Leighton Sabile in tow behind him. As they will come off of turn 4, we'll see if Corey Heim can lead for the first time this evening. Not this time, it looks like. Brandon Houth's going to lead that lap once again, so Corey Heim will have to wait at least 1 rotation around this track to lead a lap.
No, you're watching those hog tamers guys down there on the low side. Sabile now looking 3 wide for the lead on Corey Heim and Brandon Houth as they nearly squeeze Houth into the wall. But you got to love how well these hog tamers guys work together, even though it's now Houth out there by himself with no drafting help, trying to maintain the lead on the high side. And it's going to be a battle nose-to-nose at the stripe when they come around to lead this one with 42-41 to go. Great racing up front at Auto Club.
Going down the front stretch, Houth still leads that lap. As we are now at 41 laps to go here at Auto Club. Ticking down the laps here in California. As Brandon Houth going to try to keep the nose in there. He turns him.
Corey Heim in the wall. Brandon Houth turned him. Caution is back out. Leighton Sabile to the lead. But Corey Heim tried the slide job. It didn't work.
And caution is back out once again.
Well, that's the second time we've seen a slide job go awry tonight, but this one went very poorly for Corey Heim. Just slings it down into turn number 1. He's able to pull the lead and just is not able to get the slide job in as he gets in front of the 9. They get into the wall, and 2 of the fastest cars here in Fontana are going to be at the back of the field and will have their work cut out from them. From first to worst with 40 to go. They've got to try to march back from worst to first at this point.
So I don't blame, this is the driver talking. I don't blame Brandon Houff for not cutting Corey Heim too much slack there, because theoretically, when you throw a slide job, you really want it to stick, and you really want it to not make the guy behind you have to lift, because more often than not, it's more of a dirt track thing. More often than not, they're not going to lift, as you saw there.
Right. So Houff had the momentum up top, and I mean, that's just the nature of the beast, correct? As now it looks like Houff going to be still scored as the leader.
Houff never really spun out, so he's going to stay in first place. He's got a lot of left front damage, though, so we'll have to get that addressed. So as we will look like we'll have another round of pit stops here. We're right at the edge of that fuel window we were talking about, so some interesting strategy come up here. Unsurprisingly, Brandon Houff will come down to pit road, or he's going to stay out. Wow. It's a lot of left front damage that he has there. I mean,
Miranda does come down, though, out of the 5th position.
So we have a handful of drivers. Around 10th or 11th on back came down. A few sprinkled in that stayed out, but we are back under caution here at Auto Club. Let's see if we can dial up somebody in the field. Let's see if we can talk to Brandon Brown.
What was that?
Hi, Brandon Brown. How are you?
Wait, what's up?
Hey, we got you up here in the Podium Esports booth. We're going to have Darren talk to you a little bit. Glad you're here.
Cool. Oh, cool. I was like, what is all that noise? And it was just the channel changing.
Yeah, it's just us trying to talk to you, man. How's it going out there tonight? You're riding around, bottom half of the teams there for a minute. Now you're marching back up to the front of the field. Talked about maybe you were just biding your time, and it looks like you finally got a good set of tires under you and starting to sniff that lead pack just a little bit.
Yeah, so I had no laps in this car on this track ever before my Q run, which is why it was so crappy. No practice, no nothing, and just tried to play a little bit of strategy. It worked out. Now the cautions are all over the place. Stayed out here, wanted to keep one set of tires just in case we have to come in late and then in a green-white checkered-ish type of thing. So right around the top 10, I think I can finish the top 10 if the strategy kind of holds out, maybe a top 5.
Yeah, absolutely. And we saw those tires. Some of the guys, like Brandon Houff, took tires there right at the onset of that round rash of cautions.
Right.
Yeah, they really seem important here tonight. What is your limit there at the end? 10 to go, you're coming in for tires? Are you waiting for that possible green-white checker?
Well, I got 2 sets with me right now, so that's good. That's why I stayed out on this last caution. I was thinking about it, but just didn't quite pull the trigger. So the guys like Stalnick and them, they've got fresher tires than I do right now. Probably going to lose a few spots here, but going to gamble to be, with the cautions happening like they have happened, I'm gambling that there's going to be a few more, and hopefully it falls our way.
Man, I think that's a safe bet. Going green next time by. Any sponsors you want to thank? We see Sim Seats on the hood every week for you.
Always thank Sim Seats. They supplied me with this sim that I'm sitting in right now. Had a great relationship with them when I was up at Richmond Raceway. Can't thank Zach and that team enough. Garrett Maines fixed my pedals for free one time when I stupidly broke them up at Sim Seats. So Sim Seats all the way. Can't thank those guys enough.
Hey, and just looking in the chats here, talk about what you're doing with Door Bumper Clear. Some cool stuff going on over there, yeah?
Yeah. So I have my own little media company, and they contracted me to do a little producing and video editing, and I am now a producer at Door Bumper Clear, and we had our show today with Carson Hocevar. Gotta check out Door Bumper Clear on Dirty Mo Media. This episode that just dropped like an hour ago or so. Definitely check it out.
Fantastic stuff, Brandon. We see you're going green coming up here in just a couple seconds. He's a producer for Door Bumper Clear. He's also a race car driver here at Monday Night Racing tonight. Brandon, thanks very much, man.
Thanks.
Brandon Brown driver. Yeah, Brandon Brown driver, the number 12 Sim Seats Racing Chevrolet. Mid-pack right now. Running 9th in the, as we come to the green.
Green flag back in the air. Tell you what, he was a little surprised to see us. It sounded like
I think so. Yeah.
So
did he say what's going on here as we went to it? That's fantastic.
Yeah, he did. So we'll have to see how this damage is going to handle for Brandon Houff out front here. Doesn't look like, well, it's starting to affect him a lot, but I mean, it's pretty noticeable damage on the left front, so we'll have to see how this turns out for him. I don't know if anyone told him, as they're going 3 wide for the lead now. Leighton Sabile shooting the middle, Bailey Turner on the bottom, as they're fanning out to 3 and 4. Look at the move by Cole Cabry to the middle. Wow.
Yep, I was just going to say the smartest move in all of that was Cole backing off, going into the corner, and he's got the run. He's going to have the lead coming to the line. Power move, heads-up racing by Cole Cabry, last week's winner, and he's leading with 36 to go here at Auto Club. Great move out of the 51. Backed up 3 and 4, and he came out with the lead. Is now Bailey Turner in the 5, looking down low in that beautiful Hendrick Motorsports throwback, but it's the fast black Monte Carlo of Cole Cabry out front. He's going to lead him down the backstretch into 3 and 4.
Tell you what, there's been so many comers and goers in this race. It's not even funny. Of course, he pitted about 12 laps ago. So we'll have this. There's a whole bunch of different strategies going on in this race as he's starting to take out a little bit of a lead as Bailey Turner going to run Matt Stallnick to the bottom as it's getting a little hairy now. He's got a full storm. Cole Cabry's got a full storm behind him here as they head down to turn 1 and 2, 35 laps to go. Nick Olson running the top there. He's about 9th, 8th place right now as he's going to try to get the momentum here off of turn number 2 to make something happen. But tell you what, this looks like ingredients for about a 10-12 car wreck right here.
And Matt Stallnick, a name that we haven't really talked about outside of the pool all night long. He's now up to 2nd. Solid run going for him as we watch Brandon Houff continue to drop through the field. We're on board with him right now in 3 and 4, getting passed by the other Brandon Brown on the low side, but it is Houff with the damage on the nose of that Dodge, who just spun the 11 Corey Heim into the wall, and now Heim has battled back to 11. He's going to be on the bumper of the number 9, having fixed his damage and marched back up through the field, and now Heim goes by. He's back into the top 10. Talk about a racer. You've got one in the 11 tonight.
You know, I think if I'm Brandon Houff, I'm starting to wonder if I have damage, and I don't think he knows that he does because it's pretty noticeable damage as we're on board with Matt Stallnick as he's getting pushed behind, or he's getting pushed by Chase Cabry. About got loose on the bottom. I tell you what, see that guy up there in 4th place right now? He's just been lurking the whole race. You know, he said he didn't qualify too well, but James Bickford starting to rear his ugly head around here. Not that he's ugly or anything, just a figure of speech, but he's a real nice guy.
Yeah, see, he's not. You know, we've called him a beast. We've talked about his ugly head tonight.
He is a beast, though. He is a beast as he gets into Stallnick.
Hey, you know, we keep watching Bickford in this battle up front, but I'm watching that number 11 march through the field. I know he's got fresher tires, but he's picked off 4 cars on the last lap. Corey Heim now up to 6th. He's going to be on the bumper of Bickford coming up here. Only 1 car separates him, and I know there's a different strategy going on as Heim just pitted to fix that damage and get some tires. But you got to watch out for the 11. If this strategy plays out, that spin might be the best thing that happened to Corey Heim all night long.
I mean, he went from leading the race to going in the back, so I think that would have been a better strategy if he could have stayed up there. But I do like the point that you made as he's moved into the top 5 once again.
Yeah, we
look who's behind him. Oh, we have contact there. Ford Bickford washed up the track, and now that's going to open the door for Corey Heim. As they go down the back straightaway here at Auto Club, they're 3 wide for 3rd place. As they head into 3 and 4, who's going to come out on top on this one? I have an idea who it might be with the fresher tires, about 8-lap fresher tires than everyone else. As looks like it'll be, well, now it's a 2-car battle. Now it's Heim and Bickford running side by side as we're coming to 31 laps to go here in this event.
Man, just impressed. I know he's got tires, but he went from 1st to worst, and we joke that he's going to have to go worst to 1st again, and he's going to pass the most cars all night long if he gets up here and takes this lead. Corey Heim now on the outside of Chase Cabry, looking for 2nd, as the Cabry boys had a stranglehold on the lead there for a couple of laps, but now it is the Truck Series driver Corey Heim up to 2nd, chasing that fast black race car of Cole Cabry, last week's winner. So the last 2 winners in Monday Night Racing over the last 2 weeks, now running 1 and 2 here at Auto Club.
Let's see if they run 1 and 2 here at the end of this one as Corey Heim going to the outside. He's saying it's Heim time. He's going to go to the lead with a lot of fire behind him as he will launch into 1st place, and he's clear by about 4/10 of a second now.
Just smoked him as we see Leighton Sabile, Corey Heim's teammate, on pit road right now. Probably a strategy call for him with 30 to go. and likely had that written in the books all night long to pit at that point and just run it dry here at the end. As Heim now gapping the field as the Cabri boys disappear into his rear view. It is all Corey Heim now out by 0.3 of a second here at Auto Club. Mario Miranda, though, also battling back. That's a name that we keep bringing up tonight. He took tires on this last pit stop. Now he's a 1.5 seconds off, but back in 7th place of the leader, Corey Heim.
29 laps to go. Mario Miranda in the Boomer Sooner Mobile is launching on the top side there as Leighton Spiele's come out of the pits now. I tell you what, we didn't really talk about Corey Heim at the start of this one, but I mean, he's right where he's been a lot of the season up front.
Absolutely. In Monday Night Racing or in Truck Series Racing or really wherever you see this kid in a race car, he's has been up front here in 2023. Started 4th, and you see it up on the screen. He's put that number 11 on point here and really kind of in control. Now it's all going to depend on how these cautions fall here at the end of the race and tire fall off as we see a bunch of guys pit. Looks like Brandon Brown pitting as well, along with Brandon House. So the Brandons are on pit road right there at the 20th position. So strategy call for those guys to pit here with tires, 4 tires, with 28 to go as Corey Heim continues to stretch it out over now DJ Cummings, last week's runner-up, now runner-up once again here on the other side of the country.
So again, Corey Heim on the fresher tires than everyone. DJ Cummings also on a set of fresh tires. He was spinning not too long ago as he's made his way back up front. DJ Cummings, first time we've seen him inside the top 3 as you see him on your screen there. A bottle of water there. He's ready to be refreshed. He's also clutching. Again, we're at the edge of that fuel window. So he's turning the car, not necessarily turning the car up. Some of these guys in the pack might be, but he is clutching going into the corners as opposed to just letting off, as that lowers the RPM of the vehicle. Well, I mentioned that last caution. We were right at the edge of the fuel window, so this is shaping up to be something exciting here, Darren.
No, absolutely is. And just like we hyped at the beginning of the show, these races have always been exciting this season, whether it's strategy or just flat out racing, as we see Bailey Turner trying to unlap himself in that beautiful number 5, who's been running up front all night long, but did pit under green there to avoid any issues that he might have with fuel mileage. You see a lot of these guys coming off pit road at this point, pitting under green here with 25 to go, 26 to go, just making sure they get there on fuel. And again, we talk about flat-out racing here on Monday Night Racing, but there's so much strategy that's involved. We talked about the clutching and the different tire wear issues or patterns that we're seeing throughout the evening. So even at this point, with Corey Heim out lead in really dominating fashion, up by 0.8 of a second at this point over DJ Cummings, it's definitely not his race. He does not have this unlock at this point by any stretch of the imagination.
Now, I mean, it's not exactly 0.8 of a second lead. He's still under attack by these 2 lap cars, Bailey Turner and Leighton Spiele. You know, I'm not fully convinced everyone can make it now, depending on what they do. I mean, a lot of these guys, Leighton pitted, I believe he pitted around lap 55. So, I mean, it's going to be close on fuel here as look who's moved back into 2nd place, Mario Miranda. Throwing the slide job there. That's been a dangerous move all night. Mario is also on some fresher tires.
And both these guys at the front of the field, actually all 3, the top 3 have had issues, have been backwards at some point tonight, so they have battled back for sure. But great storylines here at the front of the field. Not sure if the strategy is going to play out for them, but they have made their names known here at Auto Club, and they have shown perseverance throughout the first 75 laps of this thing. We just wait to see how the cautions fall at the end of this one and how the pit strategy works out if they're able to get the capitalize on their running positions at this point.
Yeah, I just noticed his name on the ticker. Shout Mark Rabillis. He's normally a regular here, but this is the first time I've not seen him here tonight. Shout out to him. Hopefully he's watching somewhere.
I'm missing a couple of regulars tonight.
Yeah.
Presley Sora not here this evening. Missing out on Colin Fern here tonight, but still a great
oh, yeah,
field of
excellent race.
Yeah, absolutely. Now we do have regulars up front: the Corey Himes, Mario Miranda, DJ the Kate. I mean, you just run down the list, and if you followed the series at all, as I know you do, Decon.
Of course. Well, I also race in it, so.
Yeah, absolutely. So you know these names, but if for a first-time viewer, these are the guys that are here just about every Monday night, putting on one heck of a show here in the Summer Series.
some in different roles than others. So we're coming to 22 laps to go this time as you're on board with Nick Olson right around 22nd. He started in 3rd position as Corey Heim is ducked down to pit road. So that tells me nobody in the field's going to be able to make it on gas as he pitted on lap 61. So if he's worried about fuel, everyone else should be as well, as Mario Miranda will assume the lead. So unless Mario's done something different, whether he's shutting the car off or clutching, I mean, everyone's going to have to pit, I would imagine.
I at this point, and I am merely a broadcaster, a mere mortal amongst the racing gods, but I would run that thing dry and wait on the caution. That rash of cautions midway through the race leads me to believe there's absolutely going to be another one, especially with the different strategies going on, right? You've got the different closing rates on the guys on fresh tires, the guys on old tires, just a little bit slower, actually considerably slower on the track. I would be banking on one more caution at this point. I would wait until that tank ran dry or until that caution happened to come to pit road. But again, I am merely a mortal who talks about the race cars and does not drive them. So we'll have to see how it plays out here at the end.
I mean, as you're on board with Mario Miranda, the only right answer is the guy that wins. So, I mean, the thing that you run risking here is if you pit, you know, all these guys that have pitted already, you know, they're making up a bunch of time. I mean, you look at, let's take a look at what Corey Heim's going to run this time by. So Corey Heim is about, this is the first lap he's been up to speed. Actually, next time by will be, but there's going to be a significant speed difference. Brandon Houth, Brandon Brown are fresh out of pit road as they were running 41.3, while Mario Miranda is running around a 43 flat. So they're making up close to 2 seconds a lap that Mario stays on track. Now, of course, that number will change slightly either direction, but that's still a lot of time.
I'm just looking at the Cabri boys in 2nd and 3rd, and they dropped back through the pack there after that last restart. I wonder if they were saving a little bit there, and I wonder if they are going to try to stretch it here at the very end as we see we go on board with Cole Cabri looking back at his brother Chase Cabri in 3rd, but they're running in 2nd and 3rd right now. Maybe that was the play there. Maybe they gave up 10 or so positions there off that last restart. They could have just been biding their time, as now it looks like Cole's going to charge to the lead, and we're going to have a Cabri sandwich, it looks like, for the lead.
Here we go again.
Absolutely. It's Cole down low, Chase on the bumper of Mario Miranda. Are they going to make it 3 wide in the corner? Briefly, they are 3 wide, with the Cabri boys on the bottom, Mario Miranda on the outside, and DJ Cummings looking on from 4th. Great racing here in the late going at Fontana.
That would have to be my guess, because, I mean, I mentioned it earlier. They were dropping like rocks through the field, and I was like, that's very uncharacteristic for both of them. But the way that they're pushing right now, I would have to imagine they both think that they're good on fuel. So they both last pitted on lap 53. So this would be a very adventurous run to the finish here, trying to make it 47 laps to the end on fuel.
That is a long way to go, isn't it? That is a significant way to go. And that rash of cautions, there were very few caution laps in there, as well as Cole seeks out to even, I guess he's running 2nd at this point behind his brother Chase. Last week's winner, though, there in the 51 is Cole Cabri. Brother Chase in the lead right now. Looks like Josh Slate down low. He's having a great run tonight. He was backwards at one point, had not the best qualifying run. 2.5 seconds off the lead, and running solidly in the top 10 is Josh Slate, as we look on board with James Bickford in 29, looking to make it 3 for 3 in the Gen 4 car. We're on board with him, and we are in his living room at the same time. Boy, he's got his work cut out for him. I mean, he really doesn't. He's, what, 0.6 of a second back? And he might have the freshest tires out of anyone here in the top 3 at this point, trying to chase down the Cabri brothers and make it 3 for 3 on the season in this Gen 4 car.
So James Bickford that last time by was 0.2 of a second faster than Cole Cabri, but about 0.2 of a second slower than Chase Cabri. So that's really interesting. So this last time by, Chase Cabri in a 42.8, Cole Cabri a 42.7, and James Bickford a 42.6. That is 0.5 of a second faster Then the car behind him, Mario Miranda, who's about to be under fire with Matt Stolnick behind him, as that's your top 5, as we are approaching 16 laps to go, 15 this time by. It's going to be an exciting finish here. Cabri brothers up front and James Bickford trying to make it 3 in a row here at here in the Gen 4 Raceway, Speedway, whatever it is. It's about to be a short track soon, but so again, these top 3 are all on the same strategy. I mentioned it also earlier with the Cabris that Bickford has fallen through the field at the start of the run here. I'd have to imagine that was all by design, that they were clutching and just waiting for the math to check out where they were able to go back to the front, Darren.
Absolutely, and the thing that would throw a wrench in all of that would be a green-white checker, but man, I'm still banking on that late caution. But even at that point, you've got these fast race cars out front, and they're playing the strategy to a T. We've seen James Bickford play this strategy perfectly throughout the season. Somehow he ends up at the front of it for just about every race this season. So, man, they're all on the same strategy at this point, and if it plays out, you got to look at that number 29 car running third to just keep marching right past these Cabri brothers.
So the thing that's interesting here, just looking at the numbers and everything on my monitor, the top 3 last pitted on lap 53, and it looks like they're driving with their hair on fire. You look at Mario Miranda, who pitted on lap 61, 8 laps later than them, and it still looks like he's saving. So I'm wondering, someone's math has got to be off amongst this top 5 or 6. Unless there's an issue with Mario Miranda's car, which it could be, with the damage that he had earlier, but,
he had he had said that, I guess he was saying that the short run speed of the car was there, but the long run wasn't, so maybe that's what we're seeing too after that damage that he had, 16 laps into the race. So who knows what's going on with that number 89 car, but he is dropping back just a little bit, falling back down to 5th position as Matt Stolnick gets by for P4. We're on board now, though, with Chase Cabri, pole sitter, trying to match his little brother's win from last week. Cole Cabri able to pull away with his first win of the Summer Series at Talladega Super Speedway in the next gen cars. Here at California with the Gen 4 cars, that high horsepower package, and the boys have put on a show tonight as we are getting down near the end of this one. 12 to go here from Fontana.
12 to go, as you mentioned here. Don't forget the completion of our race. After we interview everybody and the post-race burnout, we'll have the frontstretch.com post-race show hosted by Jared Haas, fellow Arkansan, and alongside his co-host Brandon Hoff, who, by the way, old Brandon is running around in 20th position. Led a bunch of laps here at the start of this one, but tune into that, the frontstretch.com post-race shows. It looks like one of the Cabris is ducking down to pit road, so I think their math's not going to check out as long as James Bickford on pit road as well. It's Chase Cabri on pit road now.
So if these guys are pitting with 11 to go, and Mario Miranda pitted 11 laps after them,
it's going to be close.
Checking out at this point?
No, Miranda pitted 8 laps after them.
Okay.
That's what it is. So Cole Cabri and the 2 that just pitted on lap 53. Mario Miranda, Joshua Slate, DJ Cummings, Gary Sexton, pretty much everyone up here pitted on lap 61. Ford Martin topped off on lap 62. So, Ford's got a little bit extra in the tank here, but Cole Cabri's still in the lead now as we're coming to 10 laps to go as we have a bunch of lap cars going by to unlap themselves. They're running, just take a look at what Ronnie Osper ran that last time by. He's running a 41.1. And, there's a big speed difference now. Cole Cabri's probably going to run it until it dries. He's got about a 2.6 second lead on second place Mario Miranda. And Joshua Slade is about a second behind him. And then there's a big gap back to DJ Cummings, and then another big gap back to Ford Martin and Gary Sexton.
And then you see the drop-off right there from Boyles in 8th position to Francis Pelletier back in the 9th. That's an 11-second gap between 8th and 9th at this point. So that's where the fall-off really happens. Corey Heim, though, who pitted out of the lead, is marching up through the field now. He leads that second far backpack. Cole Cabri is going to come to pit road. Josh Slade up to second at this point, and DJ Cummings still maintains third as the 51 takes that long, slow 55-mile-an-hour drive down the pit stop, the pit straightaway here at Fontana. Yeah, go ahead, Deacon.
9 laps to go here at Auto Club. Again, strategies playing out everywhere, Darren.
And this is going to be really interesting. As you see, we're on board right now with Mario as he's talking to his spotter. And
see, look at that, the dashboard of his car. He is clutching the car. He is pushing the clutch pedal down and just letting the car roll through the corner to try and save as much gasoline as he can through these corners. That's a great job by our producer, Ryan Bauer, right there to show us that.
Absolutely. And we're now zooming in on that. He is.
So what he's going to do here is, I can tell you from a driver's perspective, it's when he has a lift point in the corner. He might be lifting early because of his tires, but he's going to pop the clutch and basically just let the car roll through at the lowest RPM the car will allow him. And that's going to let him save gas, because if you just let off, instead of if you clutch, you're going to be at 2,000 RPM or whatever this car idles at. If you just roll through the corner, you're going to be at 6,000 RPM. So every ounce of gasoline is huge at the end of this race, considering the fuel strategies that everyone's on.
When we saw James Bickford run out coming to the line at, I believe, Charlotte to start the season, the Gen 4 season. So we are, again, right on the line as Mario Miranda picks up a couple hundredths on Josh Slate in the 01 in second. That 6 car right now, not for position. Mario Miranda just going to let him go by and let Matt Alderson unlap himself. Miranda down low, and he's going to even try to sniff a draft off the 6 going down the backstretch, saving every ounce of fuel, every eyedropper of fuel at this point to try to will that number 89 home for his first win in the Monday Night Racing.
Coming to 6 to go here at Auto Club. At some point, he's either going to run out or he's going to turn himself loose, because surprisingly, this gap is increasing. This last lap, he ran a 43.1. Joshua Slate ran a 43.8. DJ Cummings 43.3, 43 flat for Ford Martin. So we're going to see what happens here as we're coming to 5 to go this time by, Darren.
Man, I am biting my nails over here. I mean, this is my pick to win this thing, right? He led the first 16 laps of this thing before getting punted into the turn 1 wall, and then had unfortunate arc brake contact from Art Reimer. But he is trying to will this number 89 Sooner Esports car to the win here on Monday Night Racing. We are going to have 5 to go as he passes under the flag stand once again.
So Super Mario out here, I think he's about to start turning it loose, because he's very stone-faced as you look on your screen there. You can't tell if he's going to make it or not. I wish there was a way we could find out, but I don't want to drag him up here at the booth at 4 to go. But as we're coming to 4 to go, excuse me. So again, Mario Miranda running 0.3 of a second faster than Joshua Slate. DJ Cummings and Ford Martin have picked it up a little bit. They're running 43 flats, but they'll need to increase the pace a lot, or Mario Miranda will need to decrease the pace a lot, one of the two. So 4 to go this time.
You got to love this about Monday Night Racing, too, is the strategy can come into play. Every guy in the top 6, 7, 8, I mean, everybody in the top 10 has been involved in an incident tonight. The top 6 have absolutely been backwards into the fence at some point tonight. But through, great strategy, great pit calls, they're all running here in contention at the end. It is turning into a fuel mileage race, but great rebounds really for everybody in the top 10.
I mean, I think everybody's been involved in a wreck at some point in this race.
True. That's true. Somebody's got to win the thing, right?
Well, speaking of that, Mario Miranda is out front as he is still coasting through the corners here. As you take a look at him here, coming to 3 laps to go in the Highland Homes Roofing 200 in the Monday Night Racing Summer Series, presented by Mach 10 Digital.
Boy, he's locked in too.
He is locked in.
See the nerves on his face as he's got those driving gloves just smoking at this point. It'll be 2 to go when he gets back to the stripe, and he is just hoping it is under power for another 4.5, 5 miles as he goes down the backstretch here at Fontana. The 2-mile super speedway built by Roger Penske opened in '97. And the number 89 Sooners Esports car looking for his first win here on Monday Night Racing. He's been talking about he just wanted respect, and boy, it's the mark of a real race car driver to be able to will a car like this in a fuel mileage race to the win. 2 to go now, 4 miles, and he just needs a couple more gallons of gas to get there, does Mario Miranda.
So he's got to make it about another 3.5 miles around here at Auto Club. He has quit clutching the race car, so his bed is made as he heads down the back straightaway into turn number 3. He is letting off a lot earlier than he has.
I mean, he's
been,
got the
so
gap
might be
though
tired.
too. He's got a 3-second lead, and he just needs to take the white at this point, so we don't have a green-white checker. He's going to be coming to the white as DJ Cummings now turning it on. He passes Josh Slate for second, but now the race is really on. 3.5 seconds back to DJ Cummings, last week's runner-up, looking to charge down Mario Miranda as Mario Miranda continues to try to conserve fuel here on the white flag lap at Auto Club.
So as he heads down the backstretch for the final time, the race is official. This is the white flag presented by iRacing. As he heads down this long back straightaway, he's about a mile from home. I think he can start to sense it now. All he needs to do is just have enough fumes to get through that race car to lead him through 3 and 4.
DJ
Coming through 3 and 4 for the final time. Boomer Sooner, Mario Miranda is your winner tonight in Auto Club in the Highland Homes Roofing 200.
Man, I called that, Decon. I said, this is the kid that's going to win this thing, and I thought it went out the window when he's in the wall in turns 1 and 2 with 16 laps into the race. And somehow Mario was able to will that thing over the last, 39 laps on a tank of fuel to get his inaugural Monday Night Racing win. Congratulations to everybody involved in that program out there in Oklahoma. Congratulations on Mario Miranda. And he is, he's going to smoke it. He's got enough left over to smoke him on the backstretch. Good for him. Boy, how did he will that car? I cannot wait for the post-race interview to talk to Mario, and it actually looks like he is out of fuel at this point as he has smoked the tires and has coasted to a stop. Now getting a push from, looks like Art Reimer. No,
it's Ray Richard.
That's Ray Richard. Yep.
We're getting other communication from drivers. Gary Sexton ran out at the line. He will come across in 4th. Ford Martin also, he had a lap to the good, it sounds like. He comes in 3rd, and DJ Cummings in 2nd. Also, just by looking at his car, sounds like he ran out at the line as well. So Super Mario was able to push his car across the start-finish line here at Auto Club in the Highland Homes Roofing 200. We'll get a word with our winner here in just a moment. This is Monday Night Racing on Podium Esports.
Mach 10. Let's give Mach 10.
You're clear for takeoff.
FrontStretch.com, providing up-to-date news, analysis, and commentary on all the latest in the world of motorsports. Check out Front Stretch YouTube page for post-race content after the checker flag waves for most NASCAR events, giving you up-close interviews with your favorite drivers and the stories that matter each weekend. For the best seat of the track and the best view on the web, visit FrontStretch.com.
Back here at Auto Club Speedway, the winner tonight of the Highland Homes Roofing 200 and the Monday Night Racing Summer Series is Mario Miranda, his first win in Monday Night Racing. And we'll check the rest of the standings for you here. DJ Cummings in second place, Ford Martin in third, Gary Sexton up there in fourth. All these guys on about the same strategy. Great rebound for Gary Sexton. Joshua Slate up there in fifth. Corey Heim looked like he was the car to beat. He was on a different fuel strategy. If everyone else had ran out of gas, he would have won. Adam Boyles up there in seventh place. Chase and Cole Cabry in eighth and ninth place. And Nick Olson rounds out your top 10, Darren.
Well, then we've got Leighton Sabile, the 25. He's 11th. Bailey Turner, car number 5, that beautiful Hendrick Motorsports throwback. Comes home P12. 13th goes to Alex Monteferrante, and Matt Stolnick in the 41 comes home 14th. Brandon Houff, who just did not ever have the car he needed after that contact with the 11 of Heim, is 15th. James Bickford, he is now 2 for 3 after finishing 16th tonight. Brandon Brown in the 12 is 17th. Ronnie Osmer comes home 18th in the 55. Mr. Fisher in the car number 30 after a couple incidents tonight is 19th. And rounding out the top 20, Steve Alfont in the 54.
So this is where the attrition started to set in. 21st, Matt Alverson, our final car, finishing on the lead lap. Landon Polinsky, 22nd. Ray Richard, 23rd. Joseph Gregory, 24th. Francis Pelletier, 25th. Finishing 4 laps down, Julian Rickey, who was involved in an early incident, 26th. Art Reimer, 27th, 9 laps down. And Corey Doozer, who had a little incident with the end of pit road, finishes 28th. So again, let's talk to our winner here, Mario Miranda, a first-time winner here in Monday Night Racing. Mario, Darren's got a little news for him before we get to the interview.
What's that?
Hey, dude, just for the record, you were my pick at the beginning of the night, and I thought it all went awry there early going. And, you had my vote all night long. You shook my confidence just a little bit. I was holding my breath just like you were over those last 15, 20 laps. But happy that you got the win, and I look like a genius, I guess. So I appreciate the boost of confidence.
Man, you made him look really smart. How's it feel, Mario?
It feels great. And back to you. You said I was your pick last Gen 4 race, and I wrecked. So I had that in my mind to make up for it. But I feel great. I know it's this series is tough, and these guys have no slack. It's just 100% every lap. And I learned quickly that if you push, you will get pushed back. I learned my lesson. But it feels really good winning. Sim racing's been rough the last couple months. Just not the results we want. So, this win just brings back so much confidence, and it really boosts my morale.
So we saw you clutching there. How close were you on fuel there? I mean, you ran out, it looks like, on the backstretch. Is that right?
Yeah, I had crossing the line. iRacing said I had 0 gallons left, but my motor was still running on the backstretch, so I knew I wouldn't be able to make it back to the front stretch through the burnout. So I was like, I need a little smoke, just a little bit.
But I mean, you played it perfectly. I mean, you were right at the edge of the fuel window there. Was there ever a thought of maybe pitting early along with the Corey Heims of the field or anyone else just to make sure, or were you going to run it till it was dry?
There was I didn't want to pit. I was going to go till the end. If I ran out, I would have just coasted around. But there were a lot of worries and a lot of doubts. Me and Gary, who were teammates, he was giving me the fuel numbers. Me and him had the same strategy. He has crew chief, so he had better data than I do. Mm-hmm. And I was doubting him. I was like, there's no way we can do it. And he was like, no, just keep going, keep saving. And, I was just doing what I know best to save. At the end, I started getting desperate and turning off the car in the corners as well. And, shout outs to him, though. All credits to him for keeping me in the race, because if it wasn't for him, I probably would have ran out of fuel or pitted with the Corey Heims or the Cabrys.
Hey, could I jump in just quick? Were you saving that entire last fuel run, or was there a point in that run where you're like, I need to turn it up? Or was that a strategy call from the last time you left pit road?
I knew I was going to have to save. As soon as I got off pit road, I was turning off the car during those pace laps. And then those first 5 laps when we were all in a pack, I wasn't really saving. I wasn't clutching at all, but I was lifting a little bit earlier than everyone else. And I wasn't too worried about this because that also helps you save the tires. So that was kind of a win-win, saving fuel and saving tires at the same time. It wasn't until I got kind of clear of DJ, I started clutching the car, and those last 25 laps were just pure fuel saving.
Yeah, that's awesome. Congratulations, man. Incredible run. Welcome to the winner's circle here on Monday Night Racing. Good to have you. It
feels so good. There's so many top names in this winner's circle. It feels amazing to be here.
Well, now you're one of them, man. Boomer Sooner. Congratulations, Boomer Sooner. Mario. Anyone else you want to thank before we let you go?
I just got to thank Gary Sexton and Dakota Curtis for the Zero G team. Everyone here at OU Esports, Twisted Tech, Team Watson Racing, Podium Esports, you guys in the booth, you guys kill it every week. So, just thank you to everyone that helps me race.
Oh, man, you're exciting to watch, and you're kind of a headache to race with only because you're so good, but I can respect that. But, I'll see it on the other end here. It's still pretty fun to watch either way. So good luck the rest of the season. Hopefully I finish ahead of you in one of these races, and good luck in the rest of your sim racing and rear racing endeavors.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
You bet, man. That is Mario Miranda, tonight's winner here in Monday Night Racing. We're going to talk to our second place finisher, up 25 spots because he messed up his qualifying that bad. It's DJ Cummings who's going to finish in second. We're going to have Darren talk to him.
TJ, my man, we're getting tired of this talking to you at the runner-up position. But dude, what a comeback tonight! A completely different race than last week. Still an incredible result. Talk about hitting the wall and qualifying and still being able to come home P2.
Yeah, no kidding. Great race. Qualifying was just bad. You try and get back to the gas a little too fast. It gets swirly on you and you tap the wall. It's like, all right, and 2 seconds later you accept it. You're like, all right, I guess we're just going to start from the back and see where we go. No, the race was really good. That first 15 laps wanted to get just see how many cars we could pass. Ended up passing probably 8 or 9 cars on that first stint. Was able to get those tires, and then it was just kind of playing chicken with the cautions and trying to figure out, okay, which strategy is going to be the best one. When we got to that lap, I guess it was 60. I guess that was that lap 61 caution. I was thinking, all right, we're probably going to go green lap 35. The fuel run was about 32, 33. That means you probably only had to save a couple of laps of fuel. I'm like, why not? Let's take tires, let's roll the dice, see what we can do. Took a few laps to get up to the front there, and then once we got to the front, was all just saving gas, was clutching it a little bit early. Right. I knew those guys being on older tires, we were either going to keep pace or just drive right by them, knowing that they were going to have to pit pretty early there. What really screwed me was being that almost caution there on lap, I guess that was 83. I was just looking at it on my screen here, where I guess the 22 wanted to be a hero and try and clear himself up, and obviously nowhere to go with my nose being right there. So just got him out of the way. But at that point, Mario was already 3 seconds gone. I'm like, oh crud! There's no way I'm gonna be able to catch him. So. No, I think we all, everybody, once we got on to 5 different strategies, it was really interesting to see which one was going to be the best one, which one was going to be the one that played out. And ours obviously was the one that played out, because you figured everybody who still had to pit, you knew they were going to go pretty hard on those tires, and then towards the end it was going to level itself out. And all I had to do was just keep pace while still saving fuel at the same time. So saved just enough. Right after I crossed the finish line, I heard it sputtering. So that was a victory right there. I didn't think I'd be able to save 3 laps of gas. So another P2 back to back. Almost. It's another game of almost, like, oh, if we could have done this, or if we could have done this. Right. Almost getting that victory, but that was I'll take it. P2's never bad.
Yeah, back-to-back P2s to first-time winners. So it's good to see that the youth coming up, I guess, in the series. But, yeah, I guess before we get out of here, anybody you want to thank? I know you got one of the best-looking cars in the field with your NASCAR branding on there. So give us a shout-out to everybody who makes this thing work.
Yep, enascar.com. Go check it out. We just launched a new redesign there, or at least it's going to be coming soon, I believe, next week. We got a new V2 version of enascar.com. Obviously, the Coca-Cola iRacing Series has got their big event tomorrow, Pocono Raceway. Check that out. And that's all we got. That's just love being a part of the NASCAR family, and I've been there almost 6 years now. It's a blast to work for them, and it's a great organization to work for.
And there he is, ladies and gentlemen, your back-to-back second place finisher, 2 weekends in a row here on Monday Night Racing. DJ Cummings, P2 once again at Fontana. Who do we got up next? Is it the legendary Ford Martin, Decon?
That sounds like we got the boss man here, Ford Martin. I guess Easton's strategy worked out tonight, didn't it?
Yeah, he did. East, come here. Come here. Right. So what do we think, East? Did we do okay tonight? Yeah, I think we did okay tonight. So Easton's strategy was on it. I had a glitch in the next to last caution. I had a glitch where I didn't take tires, and I was out there around like, why is these guys pulling away from me? And then like I got into 3, and then all of a sudden it just would not turn because I was driving it in so hard. So no, the Mach 10 digital Chevrolet was fast. Came in the last caution. I was at the back. Pitted, took 4, and I'm like, I'm already at the back. Let me top off. And if I just had about 800 more feet, I had 0.9 at the line. I had about, I believe, about just under 1 lap remaining of fuel. Yeah, I got close on it.
So what you're saying, if this race was 101 laps, we'd be talking to you as the winner.
Yes,
Pretty much.
yes, exactly. I think it's my best finish, I think, since in like 3 seasons.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that. We were talking in the chat over here. I was like, I can't remember the last time Ford, finished top 3. I mean, he's always been pretty solid, but I mean, there's so much talent in this league. I mean, top 3. I mean, a top 3 is nothing to whiff at. I mean, that was a good drive by you tonight.
No, that was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun tonight, and that's honestly, I gotta say, that's one of the most fun finishes I've ever been a part of in this league. And I mean, obviously it sounds very biased because I got 3rd, but just running to the end. And this league really hasn't had a real fuel mileage race in a long time. And we were able to accomplish that tonight. And especially in these cars at this track, one of my favorite tracks in the service. It was a lot of fun tonight. And I've even said that I think this is one of the cleanest races we've had, at least to the end, in a long time. And Brett Baldock, Mark Rebellis, and Colin Fern did not race with us. So I think, is that a coincidence? I don't know, but I think so.
Well, now wait a minute. I didn't race either, so don't throw me into that group. So,
well, look, I can only point out Colin, gets on everybody for
wrecking for 30th,
for wrecking for 30th, and causing wrecks at the end, and no strategy. Well, he doesn't race this week, and we have a lot of strategy and a great finish. So, Colin, if you're listening, I think you might just have to go find another league, maybe. I don't know, but we had a good race there at the very end.
I mentioned that earlier in the broadcast. I was like, because I was also in the race server. I was like, man, it's real quiet in there. Colin Ferd's not here. Mark's not here. I was like, there were a few regulars that weren't here, but I mean, the top 6 or 7. I mean, everyone that's been here. But I mean, again, congratulations on the top 3 tonight. I mean, that was a fun race to broadcast, just from our point, because we were freaking out if the math was checking out. We thought about 40 laps would be about the fuel run, and you guys stretched it to how long was it? 41 laps. So yeah, that was a good run at the end.
Yeah, I would probably say I started clutching around lap 2 on that last run, and really every now and then I would start clutching, and I was starting to draw these guys in. And I mean, honestly, it didn't hurt just because how much you're out of the throttle on those older tires, and you'll pick up to the center. So really, where I would drive in on my entry, I would just coast and just clutch all the way through the center and then get back on the gas. And honestly, that actually helped me more than really, on an older set to, help me turn and on older tires. So it turned out great. I thought it was a good strategy. I kept texting Chase Cabre during the race and like, hey, what are you doing? I don't know what you're doing, because he was one of the fastest guys. And we were talking about this week because I spot for Haley Deegan on the weekends, and we're talking this week about the race and what we got to do. So we're like, all right, this could be a fun combo, and certain strategy that goes into it. But no, it was a lot of fun tonight.
Man, that's a big thing with this Gen 4 car. There's a lot that goes into it. It's not like a lot of the other cars that you have. I mean, this is a high horsepower, scary machine there. I mean, did you notice early on in the race, we were watching them run the top, the middle, the bottom, every other lane? I mean, did you try a lot of lanes there, or did you really just stick to one and just hold it there the whole time?
No, I've raced this enough where I've always felt more comfortable, and I am awful at saving tires. So I was more comfortable running the bottom all night. And at the beginning of the race where, I probably could, I had a really good qualifying effort, got 7th, I needed that. And I let a lot of guys get past me and just I just want to save my stuff because I knew in that pack you're going to be running so hard for every position. And I tried to play the strategy of just waiting a little bit and just letting these guys get away because I know the draft I can still hang with these guys. And I still did. I only went back to 15th from 7th. So I was able to, hang in the draft with them for a long time. And Acosta came out, which kind of hurt the strategy a little bit. But overall, it turned out okay. I asked Easton over here and I'm like, hey, what do I got to do? And he said, oh, you got to ride in the back a little bit here. I'm going to give you an iRacing glitch, which makes you have to come down pit road that last caution, top off, and then make it all the way.
Well, you know what they say, every dog has his day, and Ford Martin had a day today. So congratulations on the P3 tonight. Good job on the league so far. It's rounded down here in the summer series, 2 more weeks.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It's been a fun little series, and we kind of want to take it more of a relaxing way this season, and then wait and come back for season 7. Season 6 obviously ending in February, and season 7 this October, going back to kind of the same format we always go through with. So looking forward to that. But this season's been a lot of fun. A lot of it experimenting. The single car qualifying, 100% is going to be back next season. Something we're really excited about. And a little hint on preview for next season. I would be shocked if the majority of the season is not Gen 4 cars. And then Miata's come back. And I've heard some rumors, IndyCar, we can go back and use it on the server, I guess, and broadcast it. If that's correct, you can expect the IndyCars in Indianapolis next season. So we're working on it. We're waiting on that. But I think we're really excited about this season. Took a lot of stuff of it experimenting, and then we'll take it in the next season.
Well, man, you put on a good product, and you put on a good product tonight on the racetrack tonight. So Ford, appreciate the time. Anybody else you want to thank before we get you out of here?
No, I'm just thank you. Just obviously thanks to everybody that helps out with the league. I'm blessed, man. I'm truly blessed. The good Lord's taking good care of me and taking good care of my family overall, and just be able to run this league has been a lot of fun. All these people that put forth the effort, Paul, Gary, Nick Olson, Matt, DJ, everybody involved. Obviously, you guys do a great job on the broadcast. You did a good job filling in for Kenneth tonight. We missed you on the racetrack, but good job overall on the broadcast. I was listening a little bit, but no, it was a lot of fun. So thanks, guys. I really do appreciate it. And the Mach 10 Digital Chevrolet was fast. And go to Mach10digital.com for all your videographer needs. So yeah.
Well, there you go. So you're a good driver, but an even better man, Ford. Appreciate the time. So that was our 3rd place finisher, Ford Martin, this evening. Glad we could have him in here tonight. Had our top 3 there. So again, our winner tonight, Mario Miranda. Any closing thoughts there, Darren?
No, I'm just pretty stoked. I picked Mario the last 2 Gen 4 races, and to see the kid get his first win is pretty cool. It's good to see guys get opportunities in this league. So we had Cole Cavery come on board last week and get that win at Talladega. Now Mario this week. And it's a stacked league, as really everyone said in their interviews there in the post race. So very cool to see them get their first wins. And shout out to the pride of my hometown, Deshore, Pennsylvania, Gary Sexton, who won the big pool that was taking place at the side bets earlier tonight. So big win, I guess, for him coming home top 5. And really beating everybody for that big money pool that they had going on. So wins all around tonight. That's what I love about racing. You don't have to be at the top step of the podium to still get a win.
I mean, that was one thing that I really enjoyed about this race is there were 6 or 7 different drivers you thought at one point, okay, this is the guy that's going to go win this thing. I mean, that's the one thing I loved, instead of, one guy controlling the lines at a plate track and then him leading the majority of the laps, or, someone just dominating. That was the first race I'd really seen this year where you really didn't know who was going to win until the checkered flag flew. I mean, we didn't even know Mario was going to make it on fuel till he made it on fuel.
Yeah, and I know, and one more lap, and we would have had a completely different winner. Ford would have probably stepped up and won the thing. So give it one more lap, and the guy who I don't even think led a lap all night long could have won the thing. So again, just another incredibly competitive, great race here on Monday Night Racing. I mean, we've seen beating and banging with the next gen cars at the super speedways, and we've seen some just fantastic strategy and competitive racing. I mean, we fanned out 5 wide into turn 1 to start this thing and to finish it on a fuel mileage stretch that was 30 plus laps long. Incredible racing once again. Just great that the guys held it together as long as they did, and everyone put on the heck of a show that they did. Rebounds for everybody too throughout the top 10. As we mentioned, with maybe 5 to go, I don't think anybody running in the top 10 wasn't backwards into the wall at some point and able to rebound. So it just goes back to show how competitive Monday Night Racing can be.
So again, your winner tonight, Mario Miranda in the Boomer Sooner Mobile. Had enough gas to throw a burnout out there at the end of this one. Only got a couple more weeks left here in the summer series of Monday Night Racing. So again, Mario Miranda is your winner tonight. DJ Cummings and Ford Martin round out the podium. Stick around. We will have the FrontStretch.com post-race show hosted by fellow Arkansan Jared Haas and Brandon Hoff. Don't worry, Kenneth Bueno will be back next week. We'll have a real announcer in here alongside Darren Denman, our producer, Ryan Beard, our social media coordinator, Cameron Albernon, and our camera director, Dougie Beard. On behalf of everyone, I am Dylan Connolly, wishing you a good rest of the night. Jared Haas and Brandon Hoff and the FrontStretch.com post-race show will take you home for the rest of the night here on Podium Esports.
Thank you, Dylan, for the coverage of the the Gen 4 race at Auto Club Speedway. Mario Miranda takes the win after a spin early in the race. Brandon, we had Miranda on the post-race show a few weeks ago. Miranda had, he's been through difficult stuff in his real life, but gets it done after an early spin that really changed the complexion of the race. It seemed like it was going to be a 2-horse race.
Yeah, from my perspective, a lot happened to change my race, but yeah, I mean, when we had those early cautions, it's kind of like you get in a groove, because we had, I think, the first 10 to 15 that we went green, and then you get a caution, you get that on 15, you get another caution on 30, and then you just keep getting those rash of cautions, and they just keep coming, and they just feel like they're just going to keep. You're not going to get any green flag runs, so you feel like you're in a good position. But yeah, I mean, listen, the tires tonight mattered. I mean, every single lap. I mean, Auto Club is such an abrasive racetrack, especially in the Gen 4, and you could feel it out there tonight. I mean, you saw on the broadcast, I felt it behind the wheel. Every driver felt it behind the wheel. Those things were out of control, especially over the bumps in both corners. You can run the top, you can run the inside, you can run the middle. I mean, it was crazy. But yeah, for Mario, that's a good win for him. I know he's had a lot of bad luck this season. I've been around him a lot. I know in his very first Gen 4 race, I think he was running 2nd or 3rd, and he got wrecked. And then after the spin earlier, I was right behind that. Or not right behind it, but I was pretty close to it. I'm like, man, this guy can't catch a break. When's he finally going to get something going his way? And then, yeah, it kind of, it allowed him to set up for the rest of his race. And, he made his way back up there. I don't know how they all were able to make it there at the end. I thought pitting early was going to be the right move there on the last green flag cycle. And I thought us on fresh tires were going to just blow by him, or they were going to run out of fuel. But props to him and everybody else who did it. I mean, that was a genius strategy. Genius way to win a race on an abrasive racetrack with old tires, and you can run half speed, save your tires a little bit, save some fuel. But no, it was pretty entertaining out there, I won't lie.
Sometimes the brain of using fuel strategy compensates of the brawn of racing hard with fresh tires. But I want to go back to a point that you mentioned, kind of more of a tipping point, where Corey Heim came out of nowhere, tried to do the move I call the slide and glide, where he slides up, tries to glide away, gets you in the wall, and you were in the lead. Corey Heim pitted, and you didn't. And on the broadcast, you had damage. So obviously, what happened there, and why didn't you pit when you made contact with Corey Heim?
So I was talking off camera, but I did not know I had damage. I thought my car was fine. I I didn't see any dents, didn't see anything, but I know on these Gen 4 cars, you can see when the valence is kind of pushed in on the front, whether it's the left or the right front. I was completely unaware. I didn't know it until the restart. But yeah, just going back to the original incident. Yeah, I knew Corey the run before was saving his tires. I saw him like a second and a half to 2 seconds back. And I was just trying to pace myself out front from Leighton. And then we got that next restart, and he restarted, I think it was third while I was in the lead. Once he got to my inside, I knew I was going to race him. I didn't really want to. Yeah, there you go. You could see my
there's the
damaged fender. Yeah. Unfortunately, I was never able to get it repaired. I could have waited. I had 22 seconds of it. I could have waited the 22 seconds under green, but then lose a lot of time. The plus would have been I would have been up to full song, but I wouldn't have finished where I did, even though I didn't finish great. But no, I was going into turn 1 there side by side with Corey. And me and him raced side by side there, I think, for like a lap or two. I knew he was going to get impatient because I feel like that's just how it is. So he got impatient going into 1. Ran the middle lane. I saw it right away. I saw the front of his car in the middle lane. Didn't even see him try to make the bottom. I kind of backed off a little bit. I was kind of running in between that seam on the top and that second groove from the wall. And he slid up. And I backed off at the very last second. Thought I wasn't going to run into him because what I was trying to do was cross him over. Kind of let him drive into the corner. Have to slow his car down. Then I was just going to try to drive right under off. And it just never happened because once you tap somebody in these Gen 4 cars, they're going right around. And that's what happened. So, unfortunate for me. Didn't know I had damage. Killed my race. Corey obviously got a pretty solid finish out of it. But as for me, didn't work out.
Well, I mean, you were in contention in there. You were up front. I was rooting for you, Brandon. Don't worry. And you had your chance. One of those times will come. There's a couple more races left. But let's bring in our next guest. Finished a respectable 18th place finish. Kept the car in one piece. Didn't cause too much trouble. He was a spotter over the past weekend at Road America. Ronnie Osmer, break down your day from Auto Club for me.
It was a pretty interesting race. Qualified pretty well. Staying up front. Was saving tires. Was feeling like I was one of the better at saving tires, but just strategy got too far off at one point, and I was saving the set for the end and just never had that caution I needed.
Yeah, Ronnie, I know for me, it was pretty difficult out there, both on restarts and on worn tires. You were running in front of me there for a while, that first and second run, I believe. What was your strategy? Did you think we were going to get a lot of green flag runs? Did you think we were going to have a lot of cautions? Were you going to try to, get the good out of those tires and then maybe hope that we got a caution like 15 laps in just so, you didn't get run down by those guys that, were saving? I know all grooves are working, and I know on this racetrack especially, you can use the top if your tires are worn. So what was your strategy out there?
I was just going for the fewer cautions strategy. It was just taking care of my tires because I knew how easy it is to push too hard and waste all your stuff. And at the end of that first run before the caution came out, I was starting to run down cars back in front of me. And so I was just going for the long game. And then, of course, after the halfway point, I was then going for a short game. And the short game turned into the long game, and all topsy-turvy.
Ronnie, I want to ask, like I said, you've been in an MR racing for quite a few races. With the summer series, who's impressed you so far in the short series going into the fall series for Monday Night Racing Season 7?
Well, to be honest, there's really only two names to really scare you now every time you log in. It's the Cabry brothers. They're both fast. They work together on everything, and Cole has adjusted easily to it, and Chase is doing what he was doing in the last season, still running up front. And the goal is just to beat them.
Yeah, definitely. Now, you were behind. I believe you pit a couple laps later than me on that last run. correct? I don't remember. I know you finished like a couple of spots behind me. What did you have any plans if we got a late caution there? Were you gonna try to maybe pull some magic, try to stay out, catch a late caution there? Maybe right on the restart. I know we have 3 green white checkers in this league, but the way it kind of goes, you can get a caution one right after the other. Do you have any plans there? Maybe if we got a caution, let's say 5 to go or so.
Yeah, I had a few plans ready. I remember I pitted on the caution with a bunch of other cars that took tires, and the guys that pitted first in that green flag run, I pitted with them and was on the same tires as them, but I got caught up in a accident that had to fix damage, so that put me in the back, and we had like 2 straight yellows after that, so with like no laps. So I got the damage fixed and had like 9 laps extra fuel. So I was going for the run long, hope for a yellow. The cars got trapped lap down, and still had the extra set of tires ready. And just like real life, if I work on Anthony Alfredo's car and Pat Tryson's crew chief, every year at Auto Club, we always play the strategy of save a set. And 2022, it proved we almost won a race from saving a set. So it works in real life. I know it worked in iRacing.
You made mention of working with Anthony Alfredo this past weekend. The Xfinity Series was up in Road America, and you were able to spot for them. How did that opportunity arise, and where were you spotting from? It's a pretty big track. I was there as well.
The opportunity came just because, Anthony needed spotters. Of course, his main guy, Rick Corelli, is spotter for Eric Jones in the Cup Series, so he couldn't be there. So we needed 3 spotters, and we have very limited hands to help. So, of course, Anthony got David Schildhouse, and to help him, they got another guy that was in turn 1. I was all the way down in Canada Corner, and which was a blast. Like, that was my first time actually spotting a real race car, and I enjoyed every second of it.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed that as well. Like I said, enjoy the 18th place finish. I think the important part, you had the car in one piece. I feel like that's easily a goal, but glad you had a fun time at Road America, and thanks again for joining us.
Yep, thank y'all for having me.
Thanks, Ronnie.
Thank you. And now I got to read frontstretch.com is the best seat of the track and the best view of the web. Make sure to check it out for all the latest articles, news, and commentary. Check out our YouTube page, youtube.com/frontstretch for all the latest content with interviews from Richmond Raceway and Road America. While I was there getting the interviews, had a pretty interesting interview with Chandler Smith, to say the least. But frontstretch.com is your place for NASCAR and SRX and open wheel coverage. Joining us is going to be the next guest of the Front Stretch post-race show. He is a little bit richer for his 4th place run, I believe. And I think we're getting him right here. It is going to be Gary Sexton. Gary, congratulations on winning the haircut pot. I believe it was $60.
Yeah, feels pretty good to walk out of here with some money for once. I let Mario know before the race. We were, hey, you're going to sign up for the money thing. I think you have a shot at this. You're pretty quick every week. He's like, nah, I don't really feel like doing it. I'm like, well, too late. I already paid your entry fee, but yeah, give me half of what you win. And man, we had to talk Mario off the ledge a few times there after he had his little run in with Chase. He was like, I should just quit. I'm like, no, don't quit, man. Still got a chance. And then the strategy there on the fuel run happened, and he was second guessing. He's like, I don't think we can make it. I'm like, we can make it. Trust me. And thankfully it paid off. So it paid off for him with a win. Good win for our team, and put some money in my pocket too. So and then on top of it, I got second place in the money. So I wasn't expecting that, but man, great.
You got a little racer there, don't you?
Yeah, this little guy's up way past his bedtime. So when we're done here, I gotta try and get him to sleep. But he's enjoying it. He loves sitting in the rig, turning the wheel. So that's probably a good thing and a bad thing.
I'll ask you, Gary, because I know what my biggest struggle was. What do you think was the biggest struggle about the cars tonight? I mean, for me, I think going over those bumps in both corners, especially on exit, if you're running the bottom, it was so loose. Like, I just felt like I was on ice. And I know, you could use both grooves. You could use the wall, you could use the bottom, you can use the middle. What did you struggle with most tonight?
Yeah, kind of the same thing. I guess I didn't think about the seams as much, but yeah, I was just getting on throttle for me. I really struggle with finding the balance between saving tires and maintaining speed to be relevant, that when my tires do finally come in, I can get enough people back, because I didn't let enough people back. I think that's ultimately what it boils down to for me, in trying to save and figure all that out. It was definitely you had to favor your right rear. It was real easy, especially beginning of the run, when you have all that grip to burn your stuff up there. That first run I was fine. The second set of tires, I raced pretty hard. I drove from like 13th to 6th, and then kind of fenced myself and spun out just because I fell off so quick. So yeah, I think for me it's more of the whole package of just trying to figure out, I know you got to save your right rear. It's real hard. It's very loose crossing the bumps and stuff like that. But then, like, when I'm trying to do that, I'm going too slow. So I got to figure out what these guys are doing. Whether they're like, are guys lifting all the way? Are we trail braking? Like, how, like, I still have a lot to learn in that department. I've been doing this long enough. I should have it figured out, but I don't.
I can give you some secrets.
I would love them. I would love them. But yeah, no, I think like that's. I mean, I definitely can make a quick lap, and when a race ends like that too, that whole last run, I wasn't even thinking about how my car was handling. So I'm just trying to get to the end, and honestly, shutting the car off and coasting was helping my handling quite a bit. I was actually like overly tight on that last run. I felt like, now that I think about it, but I would have liked to have been a little bit looser. I would have felt more confident carrying a little bit more speed into the corners. I probably could have saved a little bit better that way by being able to clutch a little bit earlier, getting a better run off. So the track definitely tightened up for me as we went. But again, it's hard to tell what it actually was doing, because I was shutting the car off and clutching and just trying not to run out of gas. I put Mario and I in that strategy, and I wanted to make sure that we got to the end. I would feel really bad if we ran out. And there was definitely a few times I was questioning it.
I'm curious, because these past we've had multiple Gen 4 races. Fuel strategy has played an effect, and if you said after Daytona that multiple fuel strategies was going to be the big deal determine the outcome of multiple of these races, you thought you would have been crazy, right? But I think parlaying the summer series is more of an experiment. Like I said, what's your overall reaction with this fuel strategy? How you built this up, especially with the Gen 4 and the tires going into season 7?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of plays itself out like it did in the glory days of that car. I feel like if you go to California, Michigan, Pocono, tracks like that in that car, those races really 9 out of 10 times boiled down the fuel strategy. So it doesn't surprise me that they do. I would have not guessed that this race was going to finish under a fuel strategy though tonight. I mean, even at that last caution, when we started that run, I was totally convinced that we were going to have a caution at some point in that run, and there was a few times where it was. But that's how it is. I think you really have to be prepared for anything when you start a run. You don't know what's going to happen. And the first part of that run, I went hard for the first 5 laps thinking that there wasn't going to be a caution. And then Bailey Turner pitted pretty early. And that kind of made me second guess what I was doing there and start saving. And I kind of regret doing that, because I feel like did a pretty good job saving there, and I could have maybe had a little bit more save to push it a little bit harder, get a few more spots. But yeah, like overall, you really don't know what to expect owning them. The fact that the past couple have been kind of fuel strategy, it's definitely. I think it's promising, you know, especially for an iRacing league. Like it's easy for things to go off the rails and become a wreck fest, and then it comes to a short runs, like, you know, trying to figure out what to do on the short runs, and that just doesn't bode well for anyone really. It just leads to tempers and anger, you know, and frustration, and guys driving harder than they need to. So I think that it's a good thing, especially in this car. You know, it shows that you know, regardless of what happens in this league, you know, doing super speedway stuff or whatever we've done in the past, when the cars are harder to drive, the races tend to get spread out at some point. They tend to be a little bit better. They tend to be more exciting, at least for us and the drivers. I know that there could be a little bit of a barrier between, you know, like, oh, it's not like 3, 5, 7 wide the whole time. But I think, you know, this track really raced well, and Homestead's going to do a lot of the same. So I personally am happy and glad that we've gotten, you know, some long runs and fuel strategy mix in the mix. It plays into my driving style a little bit better. So yeah, I can't complain too much.
Now, this last question comes from Michael Massey. He wanted me to discuss about some of the NASCAR conspiracies you had.
I bet he did.
Oh, yeah. So if you want to share them, have at it. But he texted me with that, a fellow Monday Night Racing driver.
What happens in the RV stays in the RV. Sorry, Michael.
Well, Michael Massey, we tried. Trust me. Like I said, there's some conspiracies. We won't let them out here, but Gary, we'll let you out of this interview. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. See you guys.
All right, thanks, Gary.
See ya.
Yeah, you're not going to get a lot out of conspiracies with out of you know, when they say what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, it's like, yeah, what happens in the RV stays in the RV. Or
the RV. Hey, I mean, that's Michael Massey. He had that one question for me, so I had to throw it up there, as he's going to mention it no matter what. So let's go into the schedule in here for Monday Night Racing. Only 2 races left, each for the Next Gen and the Gen 4 schedule. We have Daytona 2007 and for August 7th, and Homestead Miami Speedway August 14th. 1 Next Gen and 1 Gen 4. One thing to notice, it's Daytona, but it's a different type of Daytona, Brandon. What's one of the biggest differences between the 2007 track and what they raced at the season beginning race?
So I think the number one difference is the bumps and the track itself. I mean, it's the old surface of Daytona. If anybody remembers watching a let's say, or mid-2000s Daytona race, let's say, that's what it is. You're going over the bumps. It's not easy. It's not all smooth. You can race 3 wide, but it's very abrasive. I think I've raced the Next Gen there once. I don't remember. It might have been a long time ago. But it's a very different type of super speedway race, just because it's not that typical, you know, 2x2, you're bumper to bumper, you know, giving each other not even an inch. This, you're probably going to see a predominant high line, I would say, just because the bottom there is very difficult to run, especially over a run, because of the tire wear as well. You're definitely going to want to take tires, whether it's 2 or 4. It's not like any other super speedway where you're like, okay, I could just get away with taking fuel only. You're going to want to take at least 2 tires on every stop. After, I would say, probably 10 laps, just because it's hard to hold the bottom, because you will slide up, depending on how the setup is as well. It's not easy. From experience, I know I raced the Gen 6 there. I have raced the, I think I've raced the Gen 4 there once, but the Next Gen is a different animal to an extent. But still, all of them are the same. The surface is abrasive. It's not easy to drive. You will have your hands full. The car, again, depends on the weather and the setup. The car tends to push up off the corner. I know for the Firecracker 400 they just had, I know the 1987 cars, they're completely different. They're a whole different animal. But you come off those corners and it's not easy to keep it down. Just because you have that bump and it's pushing you wide. You keep it pinned down, you have a chance, you might spin it out. That's why it's not too easy to keep it in a line there on the bottom. You're not going to be able to tango, like two-car tango like you see. There's a lot of differences, I will say that. I think it'll be an entertaining race, though. I don't see it getting to be that single file we see. Like, you see in real life where you have that single file line at the top. I think people will try to make the bottom work all race long. And riding in a line at that track is very difficult just because of the handling aspect of it. So I think it'll be exciting. If you have, 30, 40 cars out there, I think you're going to see one pack. I think you might get split up into two just because of the way the track works. But I think it'll be exciting for sure.
Yes, absolutely. It's going to be next Monday night here on the Podium Esports Twitch channel and the FrontStretch.com YouTube page. You can check out all the other races as well that have been run to keep you up to date in the season. One race to go for each of those series. From Brandon Hoff and Jared Haas here. You can find us on social media. I am at Real Jared Haas. Brandon, I believe it's bhoff1549.
bhoff_549. If you want to be annoyed a little bit, you can follow me.
Decon was making fun of your Yankees, saying that
hey man,
is ready to sell.
I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. We're in trouble. I can do a whole podcast show on that. So we'll go into that another time.
Brandon, you're not as bad as my St. Louis Cardinals. The wagon didn't even take off in the station on that.
That is fair. That is fair.
Yes. So don't worry. I mean, you got at least still hope. You're 5th place, which you're still right there. But from Brandon Hoff here and Jared Haas from FrontStretch.com, we hope you enjoyed the post-race show. Tune in next week as we will have the series finale on the next gen cars. Thank you very much and have a great night.
See you guys.